as long as you didn't go live in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah, I just didn't want to like have it be literally in the middle of a sentence. I mean, I don't know how it works, but Neo, um,
I can see you.
by variety stream. What's up, geeks and gamers? Okay,
Those overemphasized R's.
my geeks and gamers.
Like, the main character in Robots 2005 is played by Ian McGregor, and he's like doing like a really terrible American accent.
Ewan McGregor.
Ian McGregor.
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor.
Correct.
And,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I remember that. Like the really bad American accent that he did for that movie.
I need to talk about that movie in a video because like
I thought
there's
Robots was good.
there's hot takes about it being like secretly like socialist propaganda, and
Hmm.
it's like not quite that. It falters.
I like
In
when
a
they install a dick on their child.
yeah. It's like if you just changed a couple of things, if instead of because like the big bad business, if they had frame that instead of it being like the new business versus the old business, and instead being like the reality versus the artifice, the television program, then it would be socialist propaganda. But like it's unfortunately framed around the need to bring the good CEO back.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. It's like it almost becomes like that kind of
And
criticism, but then it's just like, oh no, we just need the right people in charge, and then it'll be
and
fine.
of course, like there's some places where it goes like much like further above and beyond just having the bad guy be a company, and they have it be like about like eugenics and class warfare,
Hmm.
kind of explicitly. And there's like some really like striking symbolic parts. Like there's a part when they're watching on the TV and they see like the TV show that Big World has, like it ends with him like knocking over a bunch of dominoes, and at the end it turns a light bulb on. And then like much later in the movie, when Rodney goes to the actual place where it's filmed and he sees the dominoes and he's like, "Oh, it's just like on the show," and he pushes it over, and it
Yeah,
just like keeps on going until it's like
yeah, this like
this
massive
and
landscape.
it never
Yeah,
ends,
I
and
remember
it's
that.
like
That was a
it's
really
like
memorable
the
sequence.
and it's like really striking symbolically because it's like the contrast between the artifice
Hmm.
of innovation and capitalism versus like the reality. Like it's just the cause and effect rolling and like over and like going
Yeah,
out of control
that's
until
it's a
it's
really cool moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like if it was based on the difference between the artifice of capitalism versus the reality instead of old capitalism versus new capitalism,
Hmm.
then it would actually be just real communist propaganda.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of
Um,
things about it are just like really interesting. Like, I feel like capitalism is almost incompatible with the world of robots because it's like in that world, if you can't afford decent parts, like you literally can't do anything. And it's like their actual like that you need to purchase a child, right? You can't just have a child in that world.
yeah,
So it's like
it's like
everything it has to be purchased, like for basic human
and
function. You literally
it
can't have arms.
even though it's like it's kind of like a throwaway joke, but it makes some like really interesting like implications about gender.
Hmm.
Like like it is like an early 2000s trope, but like Fender gets the wrong legs and the legs have a dress on it and is like, ah, this is wrong.
Hmm.
But like the way everyone kind of reacts to it, and like he spends the rest of the movie with the dress and it's like fine, and the way like Piper reacts and she says like, "Oh, I have a sister,"
Hmm.
like, um, and also like it might be because there's no room for the dialogue, but Fender is not referred to by any pronouns until the movie is over.
Really?
Uh,
I never. I obviously wasn't even. I haven't watched this movie in years, so I
I
never
mean, I
picked
might
up on
I
that.
might it might have been something I missed, but
Okay.
like maybe it's just because the movie's like too simplistic to have
Hmm.
like like it just didn't happen. But
Well, in that universe, I guess it would be the gender is purely an aesthetic choice because, like, you don't need a man and a woman to make a baby in that world.
yeah,
You
it
just need
feels
people to
like
construct it. So it's just an aesthetic. Yeah.
it feels like Fender is like on the precipice of like realizing that, but that like the movie's too short. They don't have like room for that subplot.
Hmm. Yeah. A lot they could
So
have done
so
with robots. Unfortunately, I think it failed at the box office. So.
it did completely. It flopped. Um, I also have like an attachment to it because it's something that I remember being new that I've also been able to witness become like dated as all hell.
Yeah.
Like there's so much like hip hop in the background. Like they make a reference to fucking Chingy,
Hmm.
like the
Actually,
robot play.
it didn't do too bad. It didn't bomb.
Oh,
It was at a budget of 75 million, so probably including advertising, it's like 125 million, something like that. And the box office was 260 million. So it did like make money. It just wasn't like a
huh.
soaring success. Roger Ebert liked it.
You know what? You know what I like about it? It's like there's so few. I feel like it's a 3D animated movie that kind of like fundamentally has to be 3D. Like,
Hmm.
uh, like so like when I watch Frozen, like I just dearly wish that it could have been hand drawn animation because like
Yeah.
they could have done something really like sweet with like the snowflake motif. Like if they'd done something like the Sleeping Beauty. Like Sleeping Beauty is one of like the more stylized Disney movies.
Yeah, definitely. Like all the
Like
stuff
if
with the dragon and all that, like
and
Maleficent.
like the weird isometric backgrounds.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. I need to rewatch that movie.
but like the thing about robots is that it's so detailed. It's so like spatial and mechanical and I could not see it in any other medium. It had
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
computer
like
animated.
every robot is like real like you can see all the pieces that like they're built out of. Right?
Yeah,
Like
I
every
really I
piece of them is
and
yeah.
I love like the upper class robots are like have more delicate like granular structures like Cappy looks like she has basically a human face because
Yeah.
it's like made up of so many like polygons, whereas like the middle class robots are a bit more like geometric, and then like the really poor ones are just like fashioned out of car parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like um and it's like it looks weird when you see like Cappy and Piper in the same room, and Cappy like has a like a human face, and Piper is like has a like a round head with like this cartoon proportions. But like it makes sense in the universe because the rich one has like more moving parts.
Oh yeah, okay, now I remember. I was thinking who was Kathy? Well, Kathy was like the nice corporate executive that wanted to
Yeah,
help.
the girl boss.
Hmm. Did the robot end up with her? Did Ewan McGregor robot end up with her or end up
I
with the yellow?
Ewan McGregor did not have a love interest by the
Oh,
end.
really? Oh, well, that's very, very
I don't think
progressive.
so. I don't remember. I feel like I've watched it like 80 times
Yet more
growing up.
forced diversity. Incidentally, I'm really glad that we started with this conversation because it now means that if they end up stumbling upon this and like watching it so that they can respond to our response, they have to get through They have to get through like 8 minutes of us rambling about robots.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna make a video about it because like it's almost communist
Thank you for the follow.
propaganda.
Suck my dick, bro.
Oh,
Um, Ulium Fu Hustle 96. Howdy. So I guess I'll give you guys a quick summary of what's happening. So we are going to rewatch. Okay, I did a video about Mr. Gamer, aka Geeks Plus Gamers. Not really about him specifically. It was more like a broad overview of like the Captain Marvel, Brie Larson outrage, and mostly just me taking a few different channels. Like it was Geeks and Gamers and the Quartering were the main ones because they're the ones that made fucking hundreds of videos about it. But basically, the slow development of the outrage against the actress Brie Larson up to the release of Captain Marvel, the movie that has destroyed Hollywood. So anyway, I made a video covering that and kind of pointing out some of the patterns I see in terms of the ways in which they talk about this stuff, mostly involving how they will remove themselves as much as possible from actually discussing like what was said or the value, like breaking down the arguments themselves, and usually just going straight for like weird personal attacks, and like that is how it also becomes very gossip based. Like, I mean, that's what Geeks and Gamers and the Courtroom basically is. It's just like, there'll be random Twitter posts or some gossip thing, and they'll be like, oh, might as well make a video about it, or say, oh, look at this interview. Clearly, the rest of the Marvel cast despise Brie Larson, because...
I can be just as tall as you. I dominate.
Yeah, that was another good one. God, what was that channel? Do you remember the...
Like, body language professional.
Yeah, body language professional or something like that. A channel dedicated to looking at the body like this is a complete layman. They said they have like a website. I think they actually removed it. But when I was making my video, they had a website up that said like, listen, you might ask me for some kind of degree or qualification. There's no such thing as a degree or qualification for body language. So, like, basically just admitting that they have, like, no grounding. They're literally just looking at people's slumping slightly and going, this clearly means that they're scared. We can see here, they're smiling. It's a show of dominance more than anything. This character they basically do treat them like characters, but this actor put their hand on another actor. I thought a fight was about to start. But yeah, I covered a bunch of those. But Geeks and Gamers, as precious as he is, was the only one who decided to actually make a response. So he did one response that I think most people have seen at this point, but we're going to go through it anyway because it's a treat. And that will give us some context for a second response that I was sent by a very angry Mauler fan who was like, this is them destroying your video. And I'm curious about what they have to say. So first we're going to watch Geeks and Gamers' initial response to sort of get ourselves in the mood. Can I full screen this video? Yes, I can. Okay, good. So if I just hit play real quick, folks, Patty and Brett, if I hit play, is the video playing right now?
Apparently.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I'll go back.
It's not playing for me.
Wait, what?
What's up, Geeks and Gamers? Or Geeks Plus Gamers, apparently.
It's just. Can you just reload it real quick and then play it?
It's doing it for me.
Here, I'll refresh.
Yeah, refresh. It might just be that because it is pausing and I'm pausing and reloading it. I'll get the thing up on screen for you folks.
Okay, there we go. Now I can see Mr. Gamer.
Okay, good. So here we go, folks. For context, this was Mr. Gamer's initial response to my video covering Captain Marvel, the Marvel superhero film. Here we go.
What's up, Geeks and Gamers? Or Geeks Plus Gamers, apparently, according to Jack Saint, whatever his name is.
Jack
he made a
Films?
video about me.
Your grammar sucks every Friday.
A Brie Larson video where he's defending Brie Larson. And I think the Quartering's in this video and some other people. He's upset about Brie Larson. Too many Brie Larson videos. But the funny thing is, he's a male feminist. All right, he's a male feminist, which is fantastic because it makes my job so much easier. And I was really excited when
Because now you can just assign beliefs onto me
video.
rather than
"Oh
actually
my God,
engaging with what I'm
a
saying.
male feminist going after me to defend Brie Larson? This is the best thing ever. And then I watched the video, and I'm 29 minutes into this video.
For once again, for context, my main points that I made in the video were that there's a tendency to not really engage with the things that are being said, but rather to try and contextualize it in terms of, wow, you are with this group, and this group is bad, so you're bad, or you're just making weird personal attacks, like you're just a bitch, you're just like a whatever.
Just for future reference, like, could you please like pause the video whenever you talk, like even for small stuff?
Oh yeah, sure, okay. But yeah, we're gonna mostly let him say his piece here. So let's see what criticisms Mr. Gamer has for us today.
and I am bored out of my mind. My God, like, you have taken all of my enthusiasm. All of that enthusiasm I had to respond to this video. And you killed it. You have absolutely killed it. You are boring as hell, bro. Like, it's seriously bad. I mean, speed up the speech a bit. I mean, something. Is this why you're a male feminist?
You could play it at 1.5, you know.
Because you
I can't get laid. God damn it, he got me.
Like, seriously, Jesus Christ. So again, he's a
Britt, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I just have to say, I'm noticing this trend. See, he called you boring, and then he also said you cannot, get it in. So then he doesn't actually have to engage with anything that you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the thing. You never know, like, whether, like, when you get insulted, it's either like an insult meant to like hurt your feelings, or they're presenting themselves with reasons to not listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's like within the first like 10 minutes of my video. That's the main point that I make, is that they have like so it's like, I don't know how you could have such a lack of self-awareness, I guess, that like you're doing the thing that was the first thing. I guess it's like Mauler fans who like come after me by saying, "Wow, Jack Saint just hates long videos." When in the first 30 seconds of my video, and me clarifying, I love long videos. Like, several of my favorite channels have really long videos. That's not the reason that they're bad. It's just not also the reason that they're good.
Well, it's that, or the argument is just like, is it because you like them, or is it because they're all feminists?
Like,
oh yeah, subjectivist critics, or
I don't think anyone on Earth has ever been like personally like had their feelings hurt by someone calling them a virtue signaler. But and that's because it's not an insult. It's like an excuse to not listen to someone.
Well, it only really works as an insult if you're already part of this group, because like they're like, I'm not a virtual signal, I'm not an SJW, and it's like it only works as an insult if you're not like if you identify with them, I guess. It doesn't make sense to call me a virtual signaler, because it's like, I don't fucking care, like. That's not something that I consider to be an insult. I would only consider it to be an insult if I didn't want to be identified as an SJW, despite the fact that I've called myself an SJW like a dozen times in my videos.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, like I see this over and over again, like people insinuating that we just went after Mauler because we liked The Last Jedi and he didn't. And like I'm waiting for him to like actually criticize something that like gets my blood pumping. Like, I want to feel righteous anger about that, but I do not feel righteous anger about The Last Jedi being criticized.
I could maybe see myself getting genuinely mad if they start like making like positive videos about Joker, but like completely misreading what the film has to say. I mean, there's no objectively wrong reading, but just like a reading that ignores fundamental parts of the text.
I'll get mad if they if they finally watch Cache and then like they make a video destroying it. That'll hurt a bit.
Yeah. All right, we've been paused for a little while, so that's
okay.
Self-proclaimed male feminist, and he's upset because I made too many Brie Larson videos.
And he's fighting for representation, everyone. He's fighting for representation.
That's what I sound like.
And unfortunately, he's just not entertaining enough to hold anybody's attention. So, the thing I'm upset about the most is that you've killed my enthusiasm.
By the way, I like the Joker painting.
Oh my god! I like the
C3PO?
I like the little Spider-Man plaque in the background. It's like
Joker, Heath Ledger Joker immediately above C3PO.
I think that's something you'd buy at Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. In fairness, we do need more stuff on our walls. I still really need to get the giant framed poster of the 2 objective squares. That's what.
And we need the. I was thinking of like getting one of those like giant, like those giant photo frames where it will like have like different little, 4x6 frames inside,
Hmm.
and then you could put pictures in there. I
Yeah.
was thinking of doing that, and then we could have like Lemmy and the Joker baby Joker in there, and we'll just put random stuff in there.
Okay.
And
I want to
keep
have a.
changing it.
I want to have a little print at some point of the the YouTube comment where someone says, "I love Progresso soup. I've been eating nothing. I've been eating nothing but Progresso soup for the last 5 years.
We'll
I'm
print that
13 years
out.
old, and I've been living on Progresso soup for about 5 years."
We'll print that out.
yeah.
That'd be good.
Okay, we can go. Oh, go ahead.
I don't need to put anything on my walls because I do my videos in voiceover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't need to make a set. All right.
Respond. I don't typically put a lot of effort into my videos. I'm doing it with my smartphone. I'm doing the lowest effort possible because that's what you're worth to me. I'm really upset that 30 minutes into this video and I'm like wanting to fall asleep because it's so goddamn boring. Like this is so goddamn boring. And I'm assuming this is why you had to pull the male feminist stuff because this is the like is that your angle to get laid now? Because you were talking and they were like, bro, you're so boring. I don't know.
I like how this is very
it's
blame
not gonna
shifty.
work. Brie Larson's not gonna sleep with you, bro. I'm sorry.
Fuck! God damn it!
Keep trying. And
Why?
when you're making videos about me.
He got me.
When you make videos about me, I appreciate it. So thank you. You've got 50,000 views on this video, and so that means 50,000 more people have heard about me. And you're gonna hear about you too, because I'm gonna upload this. I don't know. This might get 10, 15, 20,000 views. I don't know.
How many
They're gonna
views
hear
does it
about
have?
you, and we can all
Hang
grow
on.
our audience, and it's not a big deal. So
Oh,
continue
wait.
to bitch about me, continue to try to get laid, and I'll continue to try to listen to your painfully boring ass.
40,000.
You guys have a great day.
Oh.
We'll talk to you later.
All right. Well, I guess that's what it's like to be owned.
His points were you're boring, you can't get laid,
Man
Also-
bad.
Male feminist.
you're boring, and also Brie Larson won't sleep with you.
Yeah. So they did like a really interesting tactic there, which you wouldn't usually expect, but I think it was very successful. They made a response video responding to my criticism that is devoid of any points, so that I can't like take that video down. I can't critique that response because he just doesn't say anything.
Well, I think the thing is what he wants you to do is to make a response video and go, "No, I'm not a virgin. I have lots of sex."
Yeah,
You
but the
know?
difference is I put
So-
effort
so
in my
it's like-
videos, so I'm not just gonna make a quick video responding to one random
But
thing.
that's
think-
the thing. They want
I
you to
think-
be the insecure one when they are the insecure one.
I think they call this a rags. It's called pulling a rags.
Mm,
When you make a video that's just nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was part one, folks. But it turns out that Geeks and Gamers did not stop there. In fact, I think we're in the same. Later that day, they popped into a live stream with an old pal. They apparently this is what I was sent just today by an Angry More fan saying, "Here's them destroying your Captain Marvel response video." I'm like, dang. I'm excited then. If this is so, maybe this is like after Mr. Gamer has had some time to like think about what he would have to say, and we can finally get the destructive force of a response video.
I already forget what happened in Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
How do I change? Wait, can I even change the video? Yeah, it was just a really forgettable movie. The funny thing is, I don't like Captain Marvel at all. Ooh. Hang on a sec. Log in with my
Yeah,
brand.
like so many. Like that that the Dark Master, the video where he just
Oh.
like what is the objection to objectivity, and he's like, these people they don't think that minority characters can stand up to objective scrutiny, which is why they blindly defend Captain Marvel and Black Panther.
It's
Which I don't
look, I
think
just
I've ever done that in my life.
I just want to live in a world where we can have basically hundreds and hundreds of bad movies that star female characters, and then people come from that just going, "Wow, that movie sucked," and then
Yeah.
that's it. That's what I want. So yes, I do want a lot of
I was
bad movies starring women or a lot of bad movies starring people of color, because I feel like the scope of bad movies should be broadened, but also the scope of good movies. And the
Yeah.
only way we're going to do that is to take chances.
And that's why I say, like, I think representation, or like positive representation in and of itself, is like kind of, I think it's a misfire in terms of a goal, like that in and of itself. I don't like not positive representation, like shitty mediocre representation, but also like have it not matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's neutral. Like, it isn't a. I think that the trouble is that when you have like the idea of forced diversity, and then the assumption is made that it's negative. And I'm not saying it's positive, because I've said this in the past. Like, I don't like the idea of like creators actually being like studio mandated to include certain things in their stories. Like, I don't think people should be forced to do that by studios they're working with. On the other hand, it doesn't usually affect the thing, or like, usually if you're a like good writer, you can just change things and then the story will be just as good. Like, you can't say that this was made worse by this thing because you don't know what the thing was before. Maybe the thing before was just as bad, if not worse. It's a
I think.
Yeah, like
yeah.
unless you're like unless you're like casting like Hitler as a black person, like I don't, like 99 times out of 100, it's like demographic is a completely neutral decision.
well, even in, I mean, Jojo Rabbit just came out, and that stars Taika Waititi, who
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what I actually don't know what his background is, but like I know that he's Jewish, for instance. So yeah.
I guess like the only thing I don't like is kind of like, it's kind of like the same case with like a lot of like
Maori?
male writers trying to write female characters. Is it's just like they go, what is woman like? And then also that could be tokenization. What are black people like? And then they basically work off of stereotypes.
And I'm gonna say, like, the difference between uh tokenism and forced diversity is that the solution is different. Like tokenism and forced diversity are kinda complaining about the same thing, but they propose different solutions. They
Oh yeah, yeah,
like
that makes sense.
tokenism is like it doesn't mean like Gandalf had to earn his gayness by like being a more well-written gay. And it's like,
Yeah, they didn't narratively justify Gandalf being gay.
no,
So-
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. Oh, Dumbledore. I was thinking for a second there. I guess that was a thing. Dumbledore. I'll tell you what. Actually, sorry, folks. Just to confirm, Gandalf is gay.
Sorry. Mandela effect.
Sorry, folks. It's canon. Gandalf's gay. That's actually something Peter Jackson was talking about recently. All right, so we're ready to hear the succulent tones of Moolah and Mr. Gamer destroying my Captain Marvel video.
Yes.
Commented on your stream.
I got
Oh, quick disclaimer, obviously, it's a live stream. It's not like a structured thing from them, so it's not... I get that maybe they'll go on some tangents or whatever. That's fine. I don't expect any less. But yeah, we'll hear them out here.
super chat that said, "Have you seen Jack Saint covering you?" And I was like,
Let me know if the audio is okay, folks.
he's the one
Who?
who covered Jack Saint's covered me previously.
Okay.
There's an EFAP stream that goes for 11 hours dismantling his criticism of my my videos because it's
Nice.
so incredibly inaccurate. But apparently he's covered
The-
you and the
The epic response criticism, in which what was the extent of it, was just saying, what? So it's not valid for me to say that? Why do the stormtroopers have axes? Why can't I just make an objective criticism like that? Oh, sorry, no. That was part of my unbridled critiques, which are completely different from my regular critiques. Oh, wait, no, that was from my, like, actual critiques. Whoops, I guess my content is the same in both its series.
And, like, his response to my sections were slightly better, but, like, I like the part where he's like when I say it is a subjective statement to say that the knife disappearing makes the film slightly worse. And he says like, oh, if you're talking about like whether it bothered you or not, then it's subjective, but it's still an objective flaw. I don't.
Yeah, there's also a part of the video where I say that the extent of Muller's criticisms, for the most part, is just saying, here's a thing, it's good or it's bad. And then he responds by saying, well, what else are you going to do in a critique? Which was just the saddest thing in the world to hear. Someone whose like job is media criticism thinks that there's nothing you can say, like there's nothing worth saying about media other than to just say whether it's good or bad in a certain way.
And the part where you misspoke and say like the last 6 minutes of his Infinity War appraisal doesn't go anywhere. And he's like, and then they played the last like 6 minutes.
Wait, did Jack even misspoke?
I mean, he said the last 6 minutes when he meant.
Oh yeah. That was a mistake on my part. I sent a tweet out clarifying that, but like yeah, it was. I said the last 6 minutes are when he actually starts making like genuine criticisms, but actually it's like 6 minutes across the whole video. I probably should have like done exact timestamps so it was more clear. But literally, like if they played the last 6 minutes and like 3 of them were still summarizing things that had previously happened in the MCU. And then in the last
was just playing clips from the movie.
Yeah, exactly. But then that shows that it's kind of like what you were saying with your Rags video, where you can just show something and they'll just see something else. Like the way that Rags can show basically all of who was it? Riley
J. Dennis.
Yeah, Riley Dennis's video, like show all of it, but then still make arguments that are incompatible with things that Riley has actually said. And like in this case, it will be, well, Jack Saint says that my unbridled praise video was mostly just me summarizing it. Well, here we go, Jack. Here's the video. They watch the video. It's mostly summary. Well, what does that look like? Oh shit, Morley, you got him. It turned out it was all just pure critique. He was lying.
I think, like at that point. Like you're right. I think that is like the point where like I lost the desire to like engage, because like if there's that great of rifts, I don't know. I think we're on different planets at that point.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Okay, I can't think if there's anything else that I would want to quickly bring up here. Oh, if you're a Mauler fan out there, I would really love to hear what you think was destroyed, like what you think was disingenuous, bad faith criticism made in our video, because so far 99% of what I've gotten in the months after are you hate Mauler's videos because they're too long, or you hate Mauler because you don't like Mauler's politics.
The part where I said that that Mahler spends the first 4 hours of his Last Jedi critique summarizing the film. Like, I should have mentioned that he's summarizing it and then saying whether it's good or bad, and usually bad.
True.
Like, I should have worded it like that.
Yeah.
Because, like, he does, like, say things.
What's up, Brett?
If we looked at this subjectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
You disliking Mahler for his politics is impossible. Because Mahler is apolitical.
True.
I mean,
although
like,
I think that would Mahler would probably say that you were being disingenuous there, because he says that he's apolitical in his critiques, which is in itself a little bit silly, but he claims to be apolitical in all of his critiques.
Yeah.
It's just he says himself that he's left leaning. It doesn't really matter to me. It's why I didn't spend any of the video talking about Mahler's politics, despite the fact that that's the number one thing that's said about what I said.
They got extremely mad when you said, like, oh, they get mad at Shuiri for
for
being smart. and then like, oh,
But
don't
not-
worry,
but
I
not-
won't get into that.
Yeah, that was the whole joke. Because like I was sad. I thought that was like a bit of an olive branch, like putting out like a little olive branch there, where I was being like, oh, so he doesn't like Shuri being like a super genius inventor, but he's fine when like Peter Parker is a super genius inventor. I wonder what. And then I say, don't worry, I'm not gonna go down that road. And that was like the whole thing. I was gonna say I'm not gonna critique you on that basis because I'm sure that would be tiring for you. But
Well,
still,
you're giving him the benefit of the doubt that
Yeah.
there's some other reason. not
Yeah.
I mean,
just that
also like I'm
reason.
pretty sure like Mahler, like he's probably a shitlord, but like just is very smart about not being publicly a shitlord because like he makes did you just assume my gender jokes on stream,
yeah,
and hangs out with Rags.
yeah.
Who, like, you have to be like slightly a shitlord to tolerate that beast.
Well, I mean, ER is a Nazi and is his top suggested channel on his channel, so yeah.
Oh, but it's just
It says a
it's
certain
just,
thing.
He only like ironically said that the fucking like uh legal property of Joe from Mad Max, like the legal that he owns like wives, like that, like they're actually like in a good situation and shouldn't like is trying to escape
Oh, did
that.
ER do that?
Yeah, he just ironically did it though, I
Uh-huh.
guess. Like,
Listen, ER's not a Nazi. He just makes Nazi jokes and puts Nazi propaganda in his videos and has a very Nazi community. And when he was asked if he was a Nazi, he said yes. But that doesn't make him a Nazi just because he says things that Nazis say and then says that he's a Nazi.
and the part where he's like where he's talking about the fight scene between like Max and Furiosa, the hand-to-hand fight scene, and he's like, "Oh, this is the best scene in the movie," and you're like, "Oh, is it because it's like one of the most like cleanly choreographed and entertaining to watch like hand-to-hand fight scenes in a blockbuster in recent memory?" And he's like, "Oh, it's because a man beat all the girls," and he's
Yeah. All right, let's give this a watch.
okay. I'm sorry, ER.
Of my my videos because it's
Nice.
so incredibly inaccurate. But apparently he's covered you and the quartering.
Are they not
Nice.
speaking?
I was listening to a bit
Yeah,
of-
they are. Do you not hear them?
No.
Maybe refresh. Britt, can you hear?
I can hear.
Okay.
I refreshed.
Right, give it a refresh. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
I was listening to a bit of it.
You hearing it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm assuming I repeat the same stuff, clickbait, yada yada yada. Is that the thing?
So the points I've gotten so far, yeah, you make the same point a lot. You cover things based on what people want you to cover rather than like an ethical choice. And that you do it because
Ethical?
the algorithm benefits you. Like he said, I think he said moral or ethical.
He said the word moral. Well, I don't give a fuck about what Mr. Gamer makes. It was like a general, like, yeah, I made a joke at the start about the fact that he has hundreds of videos covering Brie Larson, which is kind of weird. But, like, I don't care what Mr. Gamer does with his time. I was using him as an example to talk about a general pattern of argumentation. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong for him to make, like, I mean, I guess on some level it is wrong for him to spread lies and gossip and, like, bullshit misinformation just to feed, like, a hate wagon. It seems like something that, considering Mauler, like, thinks that I did a character assassination of him with my critique video, that seems like something Mauler would care about, but, yeah, I don't care what Mr. Gamer does with his channel. Like, it doesn't, like, he's just more a symptom of, like, the overall problem of the patterns of argumentation and rhetoric in these channels.
I think that they've already like gotten the framing a little wrong because like Mahler seems to think that it's in a similar vein to your video on him, wherein it's like really an examination of a wider phenomenon, like a documentation of like Captain Marvel discourse.
Yeah, like the Mauler video, although in retrospect I probably would have made it more of a broad look at the thinking of critics like Mauler. I think it would have been better to do it more broad rather than specifically about Mauler, because I think what I've realized over the last few months is I don't really care about what Mauler does with his channel. Like I don't really care that much if like his content changes. Like people like it. If people like it, that's
I mean,
great, whatever. But like I would like it if he changed his mind, but it doesn't really matter.
I don't think there's no one like him on YouTube, really. Like,
There's a lot of people that seem to have like his horribly mangled views on subjective and objective criticism in the back of their head. So I was kind of trying to use him as like a way of exposing like that line of thinking, but it ended up being just like about him really, where it didn't really need to be. Whereas the Captain Marvel video, I actually went out of my way to make it a more broad thing and like not just say here's this guy, and I'm just talking about them. It was, you know, yeah.
Brit is taking a break.
Oh, yep, sure, that's fine. Do you want to keep going?
Uh, I was just thinking maybe she'd want to.
Oh yeah, sure, that's fine. Yeah, I don't really know what else I really have to say. I feel like everything we said we would like to really say about the Mauler video, we said in our little response.
I think it would have been different if it was about a broader trend. Like, because I think, because like I do truly think like no one on YouTube really goes at movies in the way that Mauler does. Like, because Mauler like doesn't even have a pretense of it being like funny nitpicking. Like, because like funny nitpicking was a genre for a while.
Yeah. It's more
like-
for the entertainment than for any actual critique, like analysis.
And he seems to be like the first person to take that, like, oh, actually these CinemaSins guys are onto something. Like, although apparently they don't like CinemaSins, but
Yeah, I mean, there's like they hang out. Is it they hang out with Jay, and Jay obviously has like a whole thing dedicated to shit talking CinemaSins.
I mean, they don't dislike CinemaSins because like they're uh, like fundamentally damaging to discourse. They dislike them because they're like wrong about the movies sometimes.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can't
Brit is
tell.
back.
I can't tell. Is CinemaSins an objective critic who makes objectively wrong critics, or a subjective critic? Because he doesn't talk about how he feels generally. He mostly like observes things in the movie and then dings them for it. So that is objective, even if sometimes he's objectively wrong about what's happening.
I'd have to you'd have to ask them like because like they have a difference. Like if you attempt to be objective and like fail, you're still making an objective criticism.
Yeah,
So, like that's his way of skirting around like oh, I'm not saying that I always achieve like perfect objective criticism, but like my criticisms are like objective. It's something that it's true that I should be striving for.
I mean, that's just the constant bait and switch of Mauler, where he'll always admit that he never really makes objective criticisms because it's impossible to be fully objective in your critique, but he'll still say something's objectively good or objectively bad. So he's basically arguing as if that is the case.
The goalpost moving is so like oh, but you can like observe things to be true about a movie, right?
Yeah.
It goes. Okay, sorry.
I'm gonna keep going. No, it's fine. I just want to keep things moving.
Well, I don't know who this guy is, but what's his name?
Jack Saint.
I'm gonna check Jack Saint's channel out. I'll check his video.
Yeah! Oh god, is he gonna find the Sky High video?
Jack, I'm just playing on a different level than you, my friend, and I'm sorry if you can't understand that. But my YouTube channel is not my end goal. My YouTube channel is a means to an end. I have a website. I have a sports network. I have a gaming network, and we do a lot for donating to charity. Now, I know you don't notice that because unlike these douchebags, I don't get on my channel every day and go, hey, I'm not a bad guy because I donate to charity. No, I'm a bad guy. I'm a fucking asshole. Donations to charity mean nothing in the big scheme of things.
Why are you talking about charity then? I never asked you about if you give to charity.
I mean, they're talking about like, oh, the videos are just there to make traffic for my website, so they don't. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it's just supposed to be clickbait, right?
Doesn't matter if
What-
it's not good.
Okay.
Would that be lampshading there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh
like
my god.
It's
Because it's all like, it's just like, you know, I just want to let you know, I give the charity. You know, not that it matters, but I give the charity. But
It's,
it's not really a point. But I also get the charity.
See, the funny
Yeah.
thing is, I mean, I didn't get to the end of the video, but then that's like my conclusion at the end of the video is that I'm saying like, yeah, this is clickbait, so it's not like it's not like specifically Geeks and Gamers or the Quartering are the bad thing. Like we just need to get rid of them and then that's it. It's like, no, this is just like an expected thing when like they just blatantly throw out clickbait. And then the algorithm will continue churning it up because it's like any fans of the channel want to just keep watching videos exactly like that, and they'll keep making videos exactly like that every single day. It's like,
has
yeah,
he finished the video at this point? Like, has he seen the whole thing?
I don't think he. I mean,
Okay.
he said he didn't in
Well,
his
let's-
previous video, so we'll see.
things, but it's part of my plan. So unfortunately, he can't understand that, and that's okay. It's okay that he can't understand it. But I will whip out my cock. I'll smack him around in the forehead, and I'll wake him up and make him understand that I'm playing on a different level than him. So do I clickbait
Daddy.
my channel? You're goddamn right I clickbait my channel. Do I do what the algorithm tells me to do? You're goddamn right I do, because I'm trying to build something far bigger than my YouTube channel. Some people understand it, some people don't. Some people call me this, some people call me that. The bottom line is if you talk about me, I win. That's it. I tried to build my YouTube channel in a real strategic way for about 3 years. Tried to upload quality content that I thought it over, and I did this and I did that. And we spent all this time editing the fuck out of videos and all this
Jack?
shit covering
Wait.
conventions, spending all this money. I got 800
Can you pause?
followers and
Oh, yeah.
videos. So
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Have you seen his old content that is purportedly like edited?
No.
What's he talking about? Can we get some examples?
It might be on his old channel. Like I don't know if he has an old channel, but I think that this just became.
Ready for
I'm trying to think. Like this is Comic-Con interviews.
but now all that he does is wait
Oh,
wait wait for Daddy Gamer to whip his cock
I mean,
out.
I don't know if I should be more or less upset that they're like honest enough with themselves to just, you know, outright say it, you know?
yeah. It's
hello, Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah, no. I mean, he maybe had an old channel where he did that kind of thing, but not on the channel that he currently has, Geeks and Gamers. No, I was just saying that this like seems really sad so far. We'll keep listening, but like it seems like he's saying that he tried to put effort into his work and like no one liked or cared about it, so he just started making like shit that he hates. But let's keep.
I've been down the road. Now I'm playing the game. That the rules have been set by YouTube, and I'm playing the game that they want me to play.
You just
And
lost
it's
the game,
benefiting
Jack.
me in more ways than I ever imagined, and it's allowing me to
Ha,
build
ha,
my
ha,
business
I
the way I want
lost
to
the
build it. So
game.
if anybody doesn't like it, they go fuck themselves. And if people understand it, that's awesome. If people are offended because of my clickbait, then the internet's not a good place for you, because the internet's a really scary place. So that's my response. But I can't wait to watch this video now. This is exciting.
I think his
Okay, can you pause
response
again?
would
Wait.
be that he
I'm gonna like say to Mr. Gamer, like for the record, like the grind gets us all down, but like criticizing clickbait, you can do it while like understanding like, oh, you gotta do what you gotta do, like in this hellscape. you
Yeah.
know? Like you like
Like,
I get annoyed at mobile game sponsors, but it's more like the fact that people have to have mobile game sponsors rather than like people for doing it.
yeah, exactly. Like, again, this is why I was saying I don't really mind what Mr. Gamer does with his channel. Like, if this is all it is, that's fine. It's only like CinemaSins style thing where I'm still gonna point out, like, hey, some people think that what you're saying is like true and honest and right, especially because your channel description says that you're giving like the honest truth about these things. Like, you're clearly framing yourself as like a channel that's actually giving people information and it's clearly spreading. So like, I can't it's not just like, oh well, he's just doing it for clicks. Oh well, then we just ignore it then and we'll never acknowledge it. It's like, no, it's still something that should probably be highlighted and like criticized, right? Just because you're doing it for money. Yeah, we're all doing this for money to some
Yeah,
extent,
I
right?
mean, art that's made for money is still art, you know.
Yeah, like
It still means something.
I've admitted to clickbait a few times too, because like when I am thinking about stuff I want to cover, I'm also thinking about, oh, what's something that's gonna like immediately grab people, right? That's like that's like a pretty normal part of the process of creating stuff like online, is like you'll be
Yeah.
like, what is gonna get people in? And like, obviously, is Sky High fascist? Like, yeah, if I make a video and like that's like the title. But then what I try to do is go from that like clickbaity idea to like something that has been actually researched, and I actually try to make an argument. Like maybe you don't agree with that argument, but like I'll try to make something that is like honest or
I did,
genuine.
like, I was attempting to make something worthwhile with the Rags video, but it was like I did like fashion it in a way that's very clickable. So like if you're mad at me for calling him the worst YouTuber in the title, then I guess I'm gonna use the same argument that Mr. Gamer just used right here.
Yeah.
It's the grind, you know.
Yeah. Also, a quick shout out here to Mr. Shiva, who says Jack Saint more like Jack Soy in the chat there.
I'm not looking at the chat. Should I be?
I can't really see anything. No. All press is good press.
I agree. I mean, I say no press is bad press, which I think is a bit like there's like most press is just neutral press.
Yeah. Okay. Let's continue.
He would be like, okay, so you accept that you're being immoral and you're doing it for fame and money, so yeah, that's it, fine.
Yeah, I mean, and if that's what he thinks, that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, my channel's not named Jeremy. It's named Geeks and Gamers because I have a business and I have about
Well, that's his
40
last
people on
name.
my staff.
I mean,
And
I
we
would
have a
need to
lot
be
of-
convinced
Jeremy
you're doing
Gamer.
something immoral. I don't think...
I would need to be convinced you're doing something immoral. Oh wait, so is now Mauler just assuming that the whole video was just about how his channel is immoral?
I mean, they still think it's a hit piece about Mr. Gamer himself.
No. Okay,
Like
hang
that.
on. I want to see where Mauler's thought goes here.
I think covering Brie
Yeah, I
Larson
know.
interviews where she's acting weird is immoral. Like, I don't know. And again, I can't remember if that's actually what he said specifically. I'm just...
Right.
Put
Well,
words in
I'm
his
looking
mouth.
forward to it.
yeah, you may... I mean, fuck, may as well make a response, right? Like, if you check it out.
Yeah, of course. And I will
like I
title
said-
it. I will probably title it Brie Larson just to get the algorithm coverage too, just to piss him off even more. Just how it goes. I mean, like I tell people like they're like, why don't you talk about video games? Well, my Mario Kart videos get like 3,000 views. I mean, I guess I could
Aw.
title
Well,
it
that's
like
the thing,
fucking
right?
SJWs.
Between me and you,
check out my Mario Kart video.
We probably have like 500 interests, and then you'd be like, out of those 500, how many of those things that you really have a burning passion for? And you go, maybe 100.
Can I say something?
How
Sure.
of those 100?
Let me just say, like, if you want to beat the grind, but also like enjoy yourself doing YouTube, like you gotta give yourself like treats. You gotta get on like your bullshit every once in a while. Like just to refresh. Like I'm doing this video that's just about drone music, and it's like the most fun I've ever had writing a video. Like I'm just waxing philosophical about random drone albums. Like, oh, listen to the timbre of the accordion. Like it's such a like a mental health like bath bomb. Like you got like every once in a while you have to do like some projects that are just for
Yeah.
you. But like balancing that with the stuff you do because you think it'll get clicks is like
It's
essential.
also like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a certain way, where it's like, yeah, I guess Mr. Gamer has all of his Brie Larson response videos, and then he has his Mario Kart videos that no one watches. I'm almost 100% certain that when he says Mario Kart videos, he's saying he plays Mario Kart and then uploads the gameplay to some channel. So, oh wow, that didn't get that many views. dang. Like, it's like, yeah, that might not work in that instance, but then when you just go, okay, that means I should just be making videos about Brie Larson constantly, it's like, yeah, now that's all the views you're going to get, because that's the only content that you provide. Like, for me personally, it's always kind of been a little bit all over the place, where I tend to just cover topics that I happen to find interesting on a given month. So, like, I did my Avatar video because I felt like it. I did my Dirt video. I did, like, my videos about the Dirty Harry movies. And it's like, those are all a bunch of different topics, and, like, I cover them in similar-ish ways. But, like, sometimes they do really well, and sometimes they do slightly less well, and you can't necessarily just say, oh, I need to just do this thing because this thing does well.
And also, it is like, there is nothing like more rewarding than having something that you did for yourself also be well liked. Like when I some of my albums, I don't expect anyone to like. Like, they're just like too like weird and harsh, but then like I find that there's some like diehard fans, like there's some diehard like Majesty listeners who like fucking love Majesty, and Majesty is like a good album. It's like one of my best things that I've ever done, but like it is a tough listen for some.
Yeah. I like all your
but
albums.
There is like nothing more rewarding than having than expressing something for yourself and then having people like it. And
Yeah.
because it is possible. Like, it is possible to enjoy making something and then have people like it.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube's just weird, but yeah.
How many people want to listen to them? And you go, maybe 10. Out of those, which one of them would new viewers want to check out? And you're like, maybe 3. And then you start to go like, okay, so why not go for that one?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's an evolution. I mean, YouTube will change again at some point, and how they're structured out. And I've never, like, people at all. Before I met you, I had people talk to me, and they're like, "Hey, why don't you do more like Mauler style videos?" And I'm like, if there's an option to watch me or Mauler, who the fuck are you gonna watch? Mauler. So I mean, Mauler does what Mauler does, and he does it better than I could ever do it. Why would I try to duplicate
the weakness
something?
on my channel is I cover very little, very slowly. So.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people could do a lot, like content that's a lot more detailed,
Oh,
whatever.
was that you?
More time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jeremy covers a lot, apparently.
Yeah, that's the weird thing too, because this isn't really that true. Like, if you go to Geeks and Gamers, by the way, this is their 2.5 hour long breakdown of the Rise of Skywalker trailer. Yeah, that's a thing. So in the actual channel, it's like, so there's a lot of Star Wars, there's a lot of Marvel. Here's like a Joker video, Fallout 76 video. Like, here's one about Watchmen. Watchmen exposes woke Hollywood. Yeah, I mean, it didn't get that many views, to be fair. These people want a racist. Wait a second.
Swing bong.
Doesn't the new Watchmen, like, take place during an actual historical event? Sorry, there was a comment on this Watchmen video that says, these people want a racist world to fight against so bad they made an alternate timeline of one. But I thought that the first episode of that show took place in an actual... Alright, sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Let's continue watching.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, Geeks and Gamers does cover a lot of different topics, and like there's no...
That's my YouTube mental health tip. Feel free to get on your bullshit every once in a while.
Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
deserves it.
Agreed.
But that's the thing. Not everybody wants to do it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, if you gave your review of episode 3 like straight up, but if you did it after a day, that video would be very different. If you did it after 2 weeks, you'll be very different again.
It's absolutely right. You're 100% right. And everything evolves. I mean, my position on The Force Awakens clearly has evolved, and I don't hate it as much as people want me to hate it, but I definitely don't view it in the same light as I did initially after The Last Jedi and everything that's happened since then.
The Last Jedi really
We all evolve
radicalized
in our
Mr. Gamer.
opinions. They all change. We get more context. Usually an opinion changes once people see a Mauler video. They're like, yeah, I don't like this movie. Oh, fuck.
I mean, it can happen. This is the thing. I'm absolutely one of those people. I used to really think that Get Out was an awesome horror movie. I watched ER's video and I was like, okay, I was wrong.
Oh no! I haven't seen. Okay,
I haven't
does
seen.
What does ER? What does ER say about Get Out?
I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to talk too much about it. I'm gonna say that's fine. I haven't watched DR's video on Get Out. I'm sure it's very, very funny.
I mean, I don't like Get Out that much.
I do
But
still follow Just Right's thing, where at least in terms of like, it's sad for you to be like, oh, I listened to someone talk about how they dislike something and it made me dislike it. It's like, can't you just be like, for instance, I watched Jenny Nicholson's Joker video, or at least I've watched most of it at this point, and she doesn't like that movie. And I watched that and I was like, that was enjoyable, and I appreciate her perspective. That doesn't make me be like, God, I fucking hate Joker now.
I mean, it's because these people see like it's the objectivity thing. There is an answer that we're trying to get to, apparently. So
Yeah.
like that's why like people still like but my interpretation of Beyond the Aquila Rift is that 20 paragraphs of hardcore boob analysis, and that is why you're wrong. Like, you coming up with another interpretation does not make this one like incorrect.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's again, it's interesting because it feels like the real goal of like the objective critique would be to separate facts from feelings. But for me personally, like I would say I'm very good at pulling facts and feelings apart because I'm entirely capable of liking something and also accepting like a bunch of different readings that would completely contradict the reasons that I like it.
Yeah,
Right?
and that's why like debating art is still good, even though there isn't a way to get to the actual answer of whether a thing is good or not, or deep or not. Like, because you get to bring on more perspectives when you hear people out.
Yeah.
Like, and that's fun, and you get more lenses to look at things through, to pick and choose from. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, that's like it opens up a whole new world of critique when you accept that like lenses exist, and like it's sad that we've reached a point where there's this massive community of people who are so like anti, I don't know, academia that they think like critical lens is a dirty word.
And you can, your critiques can get so much more flexible, when you like are able to like switch between like different subjective lenses, like Big Joel when he talks about the Lion King remake. Like, he's saying like, this is ineffective fascist propaganda. like
Yeah.
he talks about the Lion King, like, it's so smart. If any movie was gonna radicalize me to being a right winger, it would have been this one. Like, and it's like, you can just do that because art is subjective. It's cool.
Yeah.
Big Joel is very smart, and I wish I was as smart as him.
Love you, Joel. Thank you for
Joel has
following.
big brain.
Truly. Thank you for following C4D Nerd. Let's continue.
That happens. That's fine. The nature of entertainment, I suppose. And yeah, so like I don't really like Jack Saint's. Just I don't know. I don't exactly know what his motivations are. He to me comes across as someone who's trying to get into the sort of, they call it bread tube. Like this new, like, do you know?
I invented BreadTube. I'm
trying to get into it.
I'm a pioneer of
Into
BreadTube.
the tube.
BreadTube wants to be a part of me. I don't know.
You know, like Lindsay Ellis, H Bomber Guy, Dan Olson, that collection of people. I don't know if you've heard of them before, but
I'm not too familiar with them.
I'm pretty sure he wants to be a lot like them, and in that crowd, he makes videos that are very similar, and like he went after me, and I didn't really understand why, and then I watched the video, and I was like, okay, it's just like straight up trying to. I guess because I guess you could say I was trending. In some way, shape, or form, but it didn't end well because like
Oh god.
it was blatant as fuck. To give you an example, because I think we told you that.
Oh, here we go.
Before,
Oh my god.
Wait.
There's a stream with me and Wolf when Infinity War comes out, where I'm talking to Wolf and Just Right, I think it is, and I mention how Infinity War's got a lot of problems to the point where you probably call it like a 6, out of 10 at most, or something like that. And I was talking about how the Infinity Gauntlet has, like, you don't really know how much power comes from it, and Thanos doesn't use it as effectively as he probably could. And there's a lot of motivations about Thanos
Yeah,
that we don't
things that make it an
really get an
objectively
answer
bad
from. You know,
movie.
like the standard ones, like, why don't you make more resources? We don't get to hear an answer from him about that. It would be really neat if we did, because we can only assume how he feels about it. And then the Wakanda battle, there's a lot about it that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, opening the door was a really interesting choice.
There is like still no sentence on possible in the English language that's funnier than Infinity War is objectively a 5 or 6.
No,
Yeah.
wait. Okay, but there is an objective reason that they opened the gates. Remember?
Yeah,
Because
there
it
is a
was like
reason given, but
the
they could.
all the shields are being weakened, right? So then it was like instead of having them come from like every direction, they funneled them in so then they could fight them.
They're baiting them into like being easier to
Right.
to
Yeah, but they could have done a different plan that may have worked better.
They could have, but the point is, objectively, in the context of the film, they literally explained their reasoning.
Also, to be clear, once again, Mueller has gone from what his usual stance is, which is that objective critique technically isn't possible, it's something that we strive for, and then goes on to say it's objectively a 5 or a 6. So now we are back to the point where Mueller does know what objective quality is. Mueller, I guess it's a shame that he hasn't explained exactly how, but he knows.
Just now.
He invented an entire field of critical theory all by himself. It's fine.
No, him and some like-minded individuals. He always said, he always said, like, even when he was talking about how he can see things in the art that other people can, he's not saying him specifically, he's saying like him and a group of
furries.
Him and the furries. Thank you for the follows, 5i5 and Squizskirgdelf.
Just killed a witch with the standard shotgun with one shot. I'm proud of that. So yeah, I said
can you
all of
pause?
that, and then
Oh, sure.
Okay, Senesar asks, if movies have inherent objective quality, why do people even need to rate or critique them? It's because they think it's like science. It's like, oh, if there's an objective like answer to what a leaf is, then why do we need to research it?
Yeah.
It's like they say it like they're trying to find the answer.
Yeah, like it's the way like a diamond has, is it clarity a diamond would have? And it's like, yeah, that's an objective quality, is the clarity of a diamond or whatever. But you still need someone who can like examine it to find that. In the same way, Mueller can just look at the script and he can recognize the objectively good writing.
And that's where the debate is for them. The debate is over like examining the thing as closely as possible and getting the thing completely under wraps, and then like apparently like if you were successfully able to like internalize every single detail of a movie, you would be able to give an objective 6 out of 10.
And that's how we get to the point where you're making like an objective critique of The Last Jedi, and you say, Luke Skywalker says he went to a place that was unfindable. If you come here to the dictionary, you'll see that unfindable is not a word. So that's another flaw of the movie.
Okay, but like I feel like I've interacted with these people like too much to like not explain their reasoning for them when people are confused.
Yeah.
Bridled praise, I don't talk about a single flaw, and Jack points out like, see, when it's content he likes, he doesn't talk about the flaws, and he's talking about a particular section, and then I just play the section in full on our stream, and it like immediately after the section, I say something like, you may have noticed I haven't talked about any of the flaws because this is a biased review. I'm not going to talk about the flaws. I was just like, he just ignored that.
He was saying it was things of objective quality. Again, it's this thing where he goes back and forth between like identifying a point of criticism as being objective, but it can't be objective if you're saying this is only I'm saying the things that are objectively good about the film, but not the things that are objectively bad about the film. But like those two things will come to clash, right?
But to him, like he's still making objective appraisals. He's just skipping the flaws. So like I think that's his reasoning. Like the Last Jedi critique is more objective and more serious because like there's a part where he says like, oh, Rey enjoying the rain is a very touching detail because she's from the desert and she's not familiar with
Hmm.
like
Yeah. It's
I
like
think
Thanos. If you say Thanos is a well-rounded character, it's like, well, is he a well-rounded character if you factor in like his like really weird, flimsy motivations, like or like why he's decided that
I
these are the ways, like this is his
I mean I'm
plan.
fine like
Like,
I'm fine with like Thanos having flimsy motivations because like fascists have flimsy
yeah, I don't
motivations
think it's
like in
that.
real life.
It does. It never
Like
bugged me that much.
I think framing it and like having like absolutely none of the characters act in any way other than like Thanos is delivering an uncomfortable truth. Like it
Hmm.
feels like the movie seems to think that he's like a daring like we never like find out whether his plan would have worked or not.
Yeah,
Like we never
I think the story would have been a lot more interesting if they'd actually dived into the ideological aspect of it rather than
and
just Thanos wants to do
and
bad thing, they stop him.
the criticism is like the criticism that he gets is like really empty. Like Gamora says like, "Oh, you don't know if it'll work." And uh Doctor Strange says that's genocide. Um and like that's it. You know what? Thanos is being his ideology is being delivered in the same way as like Killmonger's was in Black
Yeah.
Panther. Like he's being delivered like he's right, but his methods are poor.
Hmm.
Like it's anyway.
The only difference being that like the characters don't actually do anything to heed Thanos' guidance following the end of the movie. But like the way that the character themselves is framed, like it is, yeah, it's very similar. And again, the other thing I guess we'll just finish out on here is the fundamental problem with saying, oh no, this is just this is one of my unbridled videos, so this is actually supposed to be like very flimsy, biased, subjective. When the argumentation is identical to the argumentation of the actual critiques, that's where the problem comes in, and it just is. Like, I'm sorry,
I mean,
the hologram not making sense in The Last Jedi is just as subjective
I think it's because he's using the same reasoning. He's just skipping all of the bad points. Like it's
Yeah.
and that's what makes it flimsy and not like, but like the actual argumentation itself, he stands by.
Yeah. It seems like so far it's two people in a conversation convincing each other why it doesn't matter that they're not putting effort into the things they're talking about. But yeah,
Okay, sorry, you can.
sure.
Who cares about that bit? And that's the thing, the rages are biased as well. I said to Wolf when I made my TLJ rage that I thought he made a better video than I did because he talked about the positives of TLJ, so he mentioned like a lot of the shots, a lot of the acting.
Oh, the one where he
Hang on. What was that?
the one where he like his name for Rose is just fat Asian bitch. That one.
Ugh. Jesus. Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Things I hated because it's almost like an entertainment piece. I feel like tonally it screws up my video potentially if I like go, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is good. I want to talk about this for a second, and so I save that for my like balanced sort of takes in the critiques. That's the idea. And yeah, so and so that among a lot of other examples, it just came across as completely dishonest. Fucking Rags and Wolf were more unhappy with his take on me than I was, but I still got riled up about it. So I don't really. This is the thing, like I don't have.
That was a
faith.
weird thing where like Mueller watched the whole video and then commented being like, "Oh, I think you make some interesting points. I'll be interested to go through it again with Rags and Wolf." And then when they did their video, he got absolutely furious at me. Like I guess it's like part of the EFAP atmosphere. Is it like
It's the atmosphere and like the format of like consuming arguments sentence fragment by sentence fragment.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
fully acknowledge we're doing that right now, but that's just because we're having a laugh here.
Yeah.
We're not
Like,
doing
okay,
a
like
big...
anyway.
Fair. You're going through the
let's-
video a lot faster than they can.
Let's
so.
let's do the same thing they're doing. Like if you criticize us for argumentation like badly,
Hmm.
it's because It's supposed to be shitty. We're having
Oh yeah, this
gas.
is actually just to pull in views. Look at all these viewers we're getting now.
All 100 of them.
Make sure to like, favorite, and subscribe, everyone.
You come full circle.
Then his
We're also going to show the entire clip here. So we are actually going to watch the whole live stream up to the very end, just in case Mauler makes any further clarifications.
But you haven't watched the first hour, have you?
Oh, we'll go back and watch all of that. I'm actually not
Okay.
going to. The person who sent me this like signposted when this part ended. When was it? 37. Okay, we still have 15 minutes to go.
integrity that much.
We can try and get through it quick.
Out of
He's kind of
context.
screwed it up, so I don't necessarily even want to interact with them at all. But you know, I like hearing takes from everybody across the board. And yeah, I was just listening to his take on you, and it seems he actually like I skipped ahead, and at one point he says like I think he says something like you seem to be the most genuine out of the lot he's covering. So at least you got that.
Yeah, he seems to actually think what he's talking.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
It's sad because I guess I was wrong on that because I think I mean maybe he's lying to himself, but he seemed like he genuinely like thinks the things that he says in his videos, which is not what the quartering and a lot of people like that come off as.
No,
Like-
I don't believe him when he says that. I think he's delivering his real opinions in this clickbaity format.
Yeah, he's basically just like trying to say his opinion is just clickbait on purpose when I really it is his opinion.
He acts too genuine. He's too like genuinely like a huggable angry nerd Southern boy. Like
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
I
Mauler Mauler is now critiquing parts of my video that he skipped ahead to. So
I refuse to believe that he's that cynical.
yeah.
You know, nothing. Again, my stance on it at this point is nobody was making videos about my channel when I had 800 subs, and I was just doing buttoned up bullshit movie reviews, standard movie reviews, setting up. You know, we used to go to the movie theater here locally, and we brought our setup, we brought our lights. You know, we used to hand out like business cards before the show started. We used to give away free prizes. We used to go do all the song and dance. You know, I used to speak to the entire auditorium before the movie would start.
That sounds
on opening
nice.
Night of big movies. Then after the movie, we had our entire setup. We bring all our lights, all our cameras, spend like 30 minutes building our setup, record the video, do a full edit of the video, go home, upload it, get 100 views. You know, it's like god damn. You know,
Yeah, it's tough.
Now now it's set down. 7-8 minutes, get 100,000 views. Helps me.
You know, like
Um,
I'm kind of just getting bummed out, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm depressed now.
Yeah.
Poor guy. But although, like, Mr. Gamer, probably the reason that people didn't talk about you when you had only 800 subscribers is because, like, they hadn't seen you yet.
Yeah.
to ask him a question, I'd be like, okay, so 5 movies come out. You love them all. Let's just say you love them all, and then you find out from a wizard if you cover film A, people will actually watch your video. If you cover any of the other ones, you'll get 0 views. Which one do you choose? He was like,
This is the best hypothetical I've ever heard. What if a wizard told you that you'll be a millionaire?
What if a wizard told you that if you say the N-word, you get 1 billion subscribers?
Is it really wrong to say the N-word? If a wizard
Oh my
said...
god.
And that laugh isn't intended as any kind of critique. I think, Mauler, you've shown your deeply creative brain today.
Well,
I'm just
no,
like, is it-
that was just an admission of like I literally cover Star Wars because that is the big hot button topic.
Yeah.
is it
Okay,
so bad that you
that's-
choose the... And then you might be like, oh, that's ridiculous as a comparison, because Geeks and Gamers did like 200 videos on Brie Larson. I'd just be like, yeah, but weren't a lot of them done because people kept saying that? Like, you did a lot more because people were like, you're doing too many. And it's not just you, right?
yeah,
There's
I'm a
other
big
people on
believer
your channel.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the market determines the market. That's my philosophy. I'm a businessman. This is what I'm in. And now, do I?
Wait,
believe
isn't
in the
that
stuff
isn't
I
that
say?
literally a tautology? The market
Yeah, it
determines
is.
the market.
It's the same thing that Rags did in his response to Adam. Like oh, it's just like ads are just like that because they're marketing to boys.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the way it
come
is because
on.
it's the way it is. It's like, okay.
That's
Thing on the channel.
I mean,
It's-
the thing is, the extent of Mr. Gamer's actual like analysis of what gets him views is just, oh, what got me views? I guess I'll just make a video like that again. That's it.
the market. The market determines the market.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My lifestyle
Absolutely.
determines my death style.
I think that's the
What
important
I've
part.
made, right? What I've made 100 Captain Marvel videos. If my Captain Marvel videos were getting views, a couple thousand views, probably not. But people, my audience, my customers, the people that support my channel, they vote by their views. They vote by the like dislike ratios. And I listen to that. I'm not Lucasfilm. I do listen to my, my base, the people that support me, and that they, continue.
I'm not like George Lucas. I listen to my fans. George Lucas, famous YouTuber.
I'm
George
just like
Lucas isn't
processing
doing-
it.
George Lucas isn't doing social media engagement.
I'm processing him like imagining himself as being a good Samaritan because he's just like constantly producing the same material so that people can continue to be mad at the same
I mean,
people for the
that's-
same things.
That's a contradiction because like he conceded that he's not doing this for like any moral or like aesthetic like
Or any
like,
ethical,
it's-
yeah. It's
like he has like this is not an aesthetic desire he has.
yeah, it's incidental. Like even if his fans were constantly telling him like I'm sick of you talking about this, which they do if you read those comment sections, they're saying like dude, move on to something else. It doesn't matter anyway because like as long as they get views, whatever. Like him doing something his fans want him to do is completely incidental to whether he's doing it or not.
Show me
Yes.
by numbers that they want to support this, then why on earth do I say, hey, this video gets a lot of views, this topic is a really good topic, and people want me to cover it, but I shouldn't because Jack Saints is going to be all upset. Fuck that,
And this is the thing, it'd be
like,
like, if you could make a good argument for why it was, and this is again, I'm not saying he said you're immoral, because I can't remember what he said exactly, that's just the impression my brain got, so maybe he said something completely different.
Not the impression he got. That was the impression his brain got. The robot got that impression, but Muller himself. What's like the point of criticism then? If like something being popular means that it's like, well, if it's popular, what's the point? You're just talking to a brick wall. Like, why critique The Last Jedi? It made $1.4 billion. Why does it need to be like? It clearly is popular with people. So what's the point? Why not just let things that are popular be popular and not say anything?
Yeah, let things that were made to make money, I guess, like continue to do that.
Yeah, that's it. The market decides the market. And Captain Marvel, same thing, made like
I mean,
1.4 or
no,
1.1 billion
because
dollars. So
I mean, because they do legitimately think they're doing like market analysis, like with this like get woke go broke garbage. And
Yeah.
I just want to say like yo, massive corporations know how to make money more than you do.
yeah. But wait, Ghostbusters 2016 bombed at the box office. That means that people don't like feminism. Not that movie was just kind of not very good. Okay, we can continue on. I had something I wanted to say. But it's gone.
You know what? Maybe his video was actually entirely positive about you. Don't take any of my opinions. I only heard like 5 minutes of it. But let's just assume that he said you were immoral. I would like to hear the argument, because I think
Yeah, let's just assume.
potentially they were immoral. I'm trying to
If I assume that was his argument, I would need to hear his argument. Thank you for your input.
like an example. I don't know, like let's say you did a video for every single photo that was released in relation to Pro Jared. Like, look at this one where he's got his
Oh,
thing
no.
here. Like, look at this, that's disgusting. I'd be like, dude.
What?
Talking about the Pro Jared news. Look at this thingy. Literally. What of all the
Yeah.
examples of all? Okay,
Okay.
nothing.
and
nothing.
notice I didn't even cover the Pro Jared stuff on my main channel. I did cover it on my personal channel a couple
Why?
of times. Just because I don't know, it was not a topic I felt was necessary for my channel. Yes, it would have gotten a lot more views if I covered it on Geeks. topics like that where I get really into that type of stuff, I don't feel it's necessary for my brand at all times.
So he just changed it. He just changed the thing. So now it is about an ethical principle of like, oh, I didn't think, talking about all that kind of gossipy stuff, I don't think it's good for my brand. When that's exactly the same thing he does to like anyone involved in the production of Black Panther or Captain Marvel or the Star Wars movies. Like, you'll talk this shit about Kathleen Kennedy, but like not about Pro Jared. Pro Jared deserves the benefit of the doubt for some reason.
You do like flip flop a lot when you don't have a position on anything.
Yeah. Okay. So he does do things now for ethical reasons, not just for views, I guess.
And before anybody says it, you could probably go on my channel and find 10,000 things I've said that contradict the words I'm saying. But in terms of a premeditated video, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna talk about this guy cheating on his wife and sending, dick pics out to potentially underage.
Yeah, I think it's
people.
fair to cover it. It's news. Yeah. It's and not to mention if ever you were a fan of the channel, that's like huge. Or someone who is a fan of someone he's criticized. For example, JonTron.
This is awful.
He like morally uprooted JonTron. It's just like, wow, interesting. Considering everything.
JonTron.
I know a lot of people
it'll be interesting. I mean,
wait, sorry, say that again.
They're getting mad at people for like acting morally superior to JonTron, noted like white nationalist.
I would like to come out and say that propositioning teenage fans and white nationalism are both very bad for different reasons. I'm fine with like creepy pedo guys hating on white nationalists, and I'm fine with white nationalists hating on creepy pedo guys. They can have their fights if they like. I don't know. I don't think that's a hypocrisy because they're very different things. They're just both shitty.
It's like when like Stone Toss did a comic about like how insufferable like road bikers are, like, and it was like one of his like non-fascist like comics. Like, God, aren't those road cyclists like so annoying?
Mm-hmm.
We're all speaking in hypotheticals because we don't know exactly what he said. I have clicked on the video. I'm fairly
It could be a good video. Could be really
certain
good.
he's going after me. I'm fairly certain he's going after me based on
by the sounds of it, he's going heavier on the quartering. It looks like you were the two main people he went after, and like I said, I remember a comment something along the lines that you were the better one. But it'll be interesting to I'll check out your coverage, see what you think.
Wait, do they watch it?
Yeah.
Maybe he's had a very balanced take, and he's being reasonable. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. I don't know.
When did he make a video on you? Because I'm gonna want to watch that one just to get a frame of reference.
That was. You should be. I think it's on his channel. It's just a picture of.
Looking on his channel right now.
Look at just.
Oh, there.
Incidentally, that was a great thumbnail you made, Patricia.
Oh, I like how it's completely different from all of your other thumbnails.
It makes it stand out.
It's the thumbnail that I would have used if it was my video.
Yeah.
Like.
For context, folks, like when I was thinking of making a thumbnail, it was going to be like Mauler in the middle, and then there'll be like Rey from Star Wars on the side, and there'll be Holdo popping up, and it'd be like more like one of my usual thumbnails where there's a bunch of different things on screen.
I got it.
Yeah.
Long critique is
it's not deep critique. That's the one.
Yeah, not deep. Yeah, deep critique. Got it. Okay.
Guess he felt I didn't know that.
But yeah, my stance on it, like I said, at this point, it's if people talk about me, I win. That's fine. I believe that you have the right to criticize me. You have the right to say whatever you want about me. But at the end of the day,
it's true. He has won here. Like, if you see, we've got like 110 viewers right now. I'm sure at least 40 of them have been persuaded by what he's been said in this live stream and are now fans of Geeks and Gamers. And so he won in the end. Folks in the chat, how many of you are fans of Geeks and Gamers now? Who is he
I'm
converted?
a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely more of a fan than I was before I consumed this 10-minute live.
I think he's very like huggable.
Mm-hmm. In all honesty, I'd go have a beer with him. I think that'd be fun. We could have a nice chat about a few things.
When it comes to like actual like personality, I'd go out for coffee with Mr. Gamer I definitely go out for coffee with Count Dankula.
The only person who's so insufferable that I would never actually want to spend I think all of these people we've covered for the most part have been like interesting enough that it'd be fun to like go out to a nice restaurant or a bar or something and have a chat about some things aside from the quartering. I think the quartering is so insufferable that it wouldn't be worth it.
I mean, seeing. I don't think I'd be able to interact with Rags like in a neutral way. I think cause he talks exactly the same way in his videos. Like he seems like in videos like as in live streams. Like I can't help but think like he's like that in real life, and I'm
Yeah.
and I feel like he'd be an abusive boyfriend, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think it's probably you'd want to avoid the kind of person who like says completely contradictory things, or like the second you question them on anything, they'll suddenly turn around and like that was what Rag seemed to do talking to Pig Puncher.
Avoid people who like consistently interpret your words in the worst possible faith.
Yeah.
Like that's my advice.
Yeah. Oh, once again, like shout out to Wolf, who I had a long chat with, and who was actually like very reasonable in even if Wolf has said like some very incendiary, like nasty things in the past. When I actually spoke with Wolf, he was like very reasonable and like heard me out on the things that I was saying. So that's nice. And I like it when people are like that. They're honest about what they want to talk about.
As far as I can tell, like he actually did. He steps back from it and is like, it's kind of weird that we like made this entire rivalry out of just like looking at art differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope he's okay.
I hope so too. I
want to make up with him when he comes back.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it going.
I believe that the people that support my channel and my brand, I don't. If they're the type of people that they're going to stop supporting me because some guy made a video, he was upset, then they weren't going to last very long anyway, and that's fine. You're not going to hurt me by talking about me. You're only helping me because I guarantee you, I don't have any math to support this, but there's a small percentage of that audience that's going to watch this. It's got 52,000 views at this point in 2 days. There's a small percentage of that's going to go, hey, I've never heard of this Geeks and Gamers channel. Let me check this out. Let me go check out the website. Let me go see what it's all about.
Oh, Jeremy.
Obviously,
Jeremy.
The goal here was like explicitly to hurt Geeks plus Gamers, hurt the brand.
Yeah, I mean, ignoring that framing, just I can't imagine someone who's a fan of my channel going on to Geeks Gamers and going, wow, this guy makes some really good points about Chris Hemsworth touching Brie Larson's elbow.
Yeah, you didn't make a very good elevator pitch.
Okay.
Willing to do any digging, they're going to see that Geeks and Gamers is far more than
Snarkerino, thank you for the follow.
Although, if I did like find out about Anita Sarkeesian through Thunderfoot and like I got convinced to her side, so like maybe they're onto something.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm back with chalky milk.
Like once I found out that like basically everything that is said about her is a lie, and she doesn't actually believe the things that people say she believes.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Anita Sarkeesian, obviously the difference there is like even if you are clearly like taking things she said out of context, like the famous clip where she's like, everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything's problematic, and you have to call it all out. But then the next thing that she's like, that's the thing that Thunderfoot and all that
like
quotes.
The very next thing she says is like, the mindset that I used to be in made me an unsufferable.
Yeah, this is the way I thought in college, and it made me unsufferable. And then I learned to have a more like nuanced way of thinking about things. And it's like
Fun fact, Rags actually did use that clip. In a
no! Okay.
I forget exactly which. I think it was probably the Riley J. Dennis Super Smash Bros. Characters are queer video. Like either that or something else.
Oh, I wish that had been included in your video now.
It was one in this year.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
We have a lot of moving parts, and we're doing a lot of things behind the scenes that I don't get on social media and praise what we do, because I don't think it's necessary. We do it because we want to, not because we need the social media woke points out of it. And
I mean, you do it to make money.
Projects that are in the works right now with Geeks and Gamers. Just funded a big project for another channel. I'm not going to talk about the details of it, but there's more to my channel than just, hey, let me make this because it's getting traction. Let me make it because, number one, I want to talk about it. Do you know how many times, like, okay, so my website, geeksandgamers.com, we rank number one almost. We're on the first page of Google, which is a huge accomplishment for us. We rank on the first page of Google for the Orville when we do reviews. My editor-in-chief, Alex Gurzo, typically does Orville reviews, and we rank on the first page of Google. And I have a team on my team. I have people within my team that we have an analytic team that do analytical searches for our website.
I don't get
what to cover, because this is
what's he talking about.
Business people do. They search the analytics and they kind of see what
I mean,
works. Well, luckily my editor in chief
he's just justifying. He's saying like the ends justify the means. Again, so
he's not really. Yeah, he's not really talking about anything about his content. It's just it gets views.
He's not saying don't criticize me. He's saying like your criticism means nothing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. It would mean nothing if the purpose of the criticism was to say, hey, Geeks and Gamers is bad and they should change their content, because I don't care. It's like it's just identifying, like, it's weird because, again, it's the same thing Mauler does with media, or Mauler claims to do with media, where it's not about like, oh, I'm going to teach like them how to make a real Star Wars movie. It's like, no, I'm just identifying what I think is wrong or bad about this and identifying the patterns of it. Right? It's not... But I don't know, I guess he pays salaries to workers, so that justifies it.
I mean, yeah, pay your workers.
Yep. Thank you, comrade.
Writer and a fan of the Orville. He writes, these reviews, and they're great reviews, and they're ranking really high on Google. Man, I would love to try to translate that into something on my channel. Problem is I don't watch the Orville. I know nothing about the Orville. And my editor-in-chief's not really somebody, he's not really the guy that, we're not going to bring him on camera. It's not his thing, you know what I mean? So that's a missed opportunity. If I was truly this quote-unquote immoral person, if that's what's being described, I would just because I can turn the camera on and bullshit my way through an Orville review if I need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
my videos
yeah.
Like
There's people who do that. There are people who do that. They'll watch the show just to review it, where they just do not care. They'll be like, "Oh, it seemed like this was a fun episode." There's I think we should do that for like April Fools or something, like review an episode of a thing we've never seen.
I might just watch one Orville episode and just fucking make a video that gets like 50, 100,000 views maybe. Just to prove a point. Like, I can't do this.
100,000 views.
He gets 100,000 views with his Orville review.
100,000 views.
100,000 views.
I like the it's like the part in the Rags video where he was like saying this to 2 million, almost 200,000 people.
When he had like 300,000 views, and the joke is that halfway through he reveals he hasn't even seen the movie and that his review is bullshit, and that everyone's doing one because it's just the thing to do right now. I can't remember who made it, but I remember finding it funny.
And that's true, uncompetitive. It wouldn't be immoral, but I guess based on the definition, how immoral seems to be defined in this particular situation, where I guess it's immoral for me to make too many Brie Larson videos.
No, that's not. They're just going forward with that premise now. This is so interesting.
I'm pretty sure they're not going to watch the video.
Yeah, they're not going to watch the video. I think they're just going to say, "Oh yeah, I think he says that it's like immoral to make videos about Brie Larson." Like that's. Yep, there you go. That's my stance. You got me.
To him directly that this benefits you. Him talking about you, he'd be like, even if there was a percentage of people that decided to subscribe to you, his position would be, I probably convinced more people to unsubscribe because you're a. I'm not going to say any insults. I don't know what he would say to you, but probably wouldn't be kind.
No.
Right, and I mean, I have my social.
No, Patricia. The purpose of my video was to get people to unsubscribe to Geeks and Gamers. That was the purpose of the video. I'm glad that they broke it down. They worked it out.
Well, I guess
Play
now we've
numbers.
cleared it up.
That I can
I was
show
wrong.
where did my dip in subs come from? Because they're doing pretty well, you know. So
Well, I was gonna say his
you know.
his video on me didn't hurt me whatsoever. Well, people wanted me to cover it just to get the narrative sorted, but once it was done, it was done. He did a response to our response, and it's like there's no. It would be like me saying like 5 + 5 is 11. Then you go, it's 10. Then I go, I responded to you. You'd be like, I don't care.
Oh, wow.
Why does everything have to break down to an analogy about like 2 + 2 = 5 or 5 + 5 = 11?
I mean, like the thing with like using math is like math is like the most subjective field of anything. Like you made all this shit up. It's a universe that we invented to make it easier to observe the rest of the universe. Like it's like what is 2? 2 is nothing. It's I mean, I guess there's a philosophy that math like isn't invented, it's discovered. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's kind of. I guess it's kind of like we invented the language to invent terms that we use to describe very specific things. So when I say 2, I'm describing something very specific.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to weigh in too much on that because then we start getting into conversations about like actual objective realities versus subjective realities, which is so outside of any realm of comprehension for the people that we usually cover here.
I mean, like,
it's just
like,
not
I
worth
think,
it.
Math by itself is just like it's a like Bubble Boy 98 says math is a lens and a framework to understand things. Like it's okay. Everyone's mad at me for bringing up this. I derailed. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So does he define himself as a male feminist? Because he's on his channel.
Oh,
He's got a male
definitely,
feminist review.
definitely.
Oh Lord, that's gonna be so much fun. Now wonder this guy doesn't like me because I have said if you identify as a male feminist, you are not to be trusted. No woman should ever trust you. You are basically Joss Whedon. So that makes this even. Oh, this makes this a lot better now. I can't wait to check this out.
I'll just watch your response. Like I said, I don't really care to get involved.
Britt, do you have anything to say about that?
I think it's really weird. Is they'll try because the whole male feminist thing is just like you shouldn't trust those kinds of men because they have ulterior motives. Not like me, who doesn't have any ulterior motives.
He's just a sweet
It's
Christian
kind of
boy.
like a situation where it's like saying, "Don't trust men because I am a man, so I know what they are like." Essentially, so it's just you're really selling yourself short.
Yeah. Metal Gear Samus, thank you for the follow.
Let me just say, I'm a woman, and I am much more likely to date a man if he identifies as a feminist. So,
Got him.
Snap, snap.
snap.
Jack saying, like I said, I'm not convinced he's genuine, so I don't want to waste time or anything.
Oh, I mean, the fact that
But like, fucking hell, you know, you go for it, whatever, do what you want.
Yeah, the fact that he identifies as a male feminist, I mean, just says everything I need to know. This is fantastic. So,
I mean, I don't.
I
Like
mean,
I
this
said, I
could-
don't know if he
this
even
could-
covers that in the video or anything, but it would be interesting to. I'm sure he would find your take on that disagreeable.
this is gonna be so good. Oh goodness, I am so happy now. I'm really happy.
Okay, so this isn't a response. This is their like preamble. Like
Yeah,
this is them
I guess
figuring out
so.
that they need to do a response.
Yeah, it's interesting how he like he immediately went from I wouldn't think it was right to talk about the Orville when I don't really know much about the Orville to I'm going to do this video about Jack Saint based purely off of the first couple of minutes of his video and the fact that he's a male feminist. Like straight from one to the other, but I guess it's different because in that case it's just for the views, whereas for his reviews of the Orville, it's an ethical choice. Okay.
I mean, like I said, I just tuned in because we just got done playing Mario Kart on our gaming stream. That people say, "Oh, it's Geeks and Gamers. They don't cover gaming." We have plenty of gaming. It's just not on the main channel. It's other places. But so we wrapped up Mario Kart. I walked inside to check the score of the NBA game because I do need to bounce soon because I want to watch the second half of that game. But and I turned the stream on and I saw me being discussed in the chat, and so I assumed somebody brought me up, to you.
Yeah, it was a
and,
super chat. They were just like, if I see this video, it's like I don't watch Jack Saint's channel, but I guess he's covering you now. It's because it's like a general he's trying. I guess he's trying to like talk about the because Brie Larson came up all over YouTube once she did all her interviews and stuff, and then obviously Captain Marvel. And I guess he's trying to say that like it was overblown and that the algorithm essentially spawned it, and that I don't know.
YouTube is a.
That's actually
YouTube
pretty spot
is,
on, yeah.
Like this market determines the market. If people want to watch something, those things start becoming relevant. This is why when you and I went live on your channel for Game of Thrones, we had like 11,000 people watching. Why? Because people were interested in Game of Thrones, and that's why Gary had like 17,000 people watching him.
Right.
And the Brie Larson
First
stuff.
you called Geeks and Gamers immoral. Wait, first you say he called Geeks and Gamers immoral. I thought he said something in relation to morals or ethics. I already said that I might be wrong. Isn't that good enough?
He already clarified that. Yeah.
Then you walk it back. I mean, yeah. I wasn't sure about it, so yeah. Then you say Jack is not genuine.
You say, I'm not sure.
You really don't like him. Yeah, I really don't like him. That's true. And do I think he's genuine? No. I don't think you're a genuine person if you critique videos by chopping pieces out that ruin your narrative. I don't. Like, is that a jump? Is that a stretch? What do you think, Jeremy?
I agree with that premise.
Okay,
But
they're talking to someone in the chat called Uncompetitive. I don't know anything about him, but I know like everyone on the Muller Discord is super mad at him, and I don't know why. Like I can't even find his channel.
it seems like he's somebody that like just will point out any kind of hypocrisy or like at least based on this chat. Like even though he's kind of a Muller fan, he's like saying, "Hey Muller, you're being inconsistent here." Maybe they just don't like that.
Like he's shown up in my comment section defending me sometimes. I don't know anything about.
I also feel the need to point out the fact that Muller literally just said, "I don't consider you." Hang on, let me just play this clip once more. Let me roll it back.
Chopping pieces out. I don't think you don't like him. That's true. And do I think he's genuine? No. I don't think you're a genuine person if you critique videos by chopping pieces out that ruin your narrative. I don't.
While talking to Geeks and Gamers. In a conversation with Geeks and Gamers who literally just said it doesn't fucking matter if my videos like are based on nothing, based on gossip and misinformation and clipped clips, whatever, it's just more views for me. And then Muller turned around and said, yeah, I don't think that you can be a genuine person if you do that. Like, I know that he thinks that I still did that in my video. I disagree. We covered that in the stream, that like pretty much every example they come up with, the only times in which they did spot out like a genuine error on my part were times where it actually made his argument look worse, like with the Infinity War thing, with the amount of time he spent actually critiquing the material as opposed to just summarizing shit. And like, so I know that he thinks I do that, but like, we know that Geeks and Gamers does that because he just said it like 2 minutes ago.
The thing with my Rags video that makes me like even more proud of it is that like they can't even point to like superficial stuff that I got wrong. Like they're just saying that I took them out of context.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like again, 99% of criticism of the long critique video is just you don't like Muller's politics, isn't anything addressed in the video, and you don't like long videos, which is cleared up within the first 30 seconds. So it's like yeah, and the Rags video, I think the same thing, where like a lot of criticisms that just don't go anywhere are the ones being levied against you.
Like you need to point out the like what part of their video contradicts the thing that I have playing on the screen right now. Like that's the
Yeah, like specific, like I do appreciate Muller bringing up specific examples here of issues that he had with my video, even if I would like rebut that, as we did in our stream. But yeah, generally speaking, it's even more exhausting when it's just, you're being disingenuous. How am I being disingenuous? Because you're arguing in bad faith. How am I arguing in bad faith? Well, because you took them out of context. Where did I take them out of context? Well, and then that would end. And then that's the end of the conversation.
Of course, most of the comments I get is just like pointing out that I hide likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
Which does boost the video's performance in the algorithm, so...
Yeah.
You need an easy way to get a whole bunch more comments on your video.
Like, is that a jump? Is that a stretch? What do you think, Jeremy?
Well, I mean, I've already the fact that this person identifies as a male feminist means he is not to be trusted in any capacity whatsoever. He cannot be around women, and that just calls into question his credibility in every aspect.
What
of
the
his
fuck?
existence, because
Every aspect of its
male
existence.
feminists are truly the most disgusting human beings on the planet.
What is wrong with this guy?
They do not want. They are a wolf in sheep's clothing, is what they are. That's exactly what they are.
This is fucked up.
They,
Pull up his video. I can probably find what the quote I was talking about was, because I could have sworn he said something he said something that made me say it, so it must be close.
yeah, I mean, this guy has.
He must have said it because, like, I got the impression
identifying as a
of
male
it.
feminist, and nothing the man says has
right
any
now,
credibility with me whatsoever.
market
And
is
pro Jared,
Oh, I also feel the need to point out right now. I do
Wait,
talk slower
is
than
he
usual.
playing the video now?
Yeah, he's playing the video in the background. I did talk slower than usual in the video. That was a Sean reference because the whole video is formatted like a Sean video.
I'm sorry, I'm just still reeling over the male feminist thing. Because it's literally nothing you as an individual person has done. It's just, what would you call a presupposition? Where it's just like,
Male feminists
well,
are bad,
if you
so I'm
say Male
bad.
feminists are bad, therefore... So... Oh my god.
It's valid, it's just not sound. It's like, if all male feminists are bad, and you are a male feminist, by definition you are bad. Are all male feminists bad? Anyway.
male feminist too, by the way. He seemed to respect women really a lot. It seems.
Women.
Same with what was it, Andy Signor from Screen Junkies? You know,
Yeah,
Mr. Male
can we
Feminist.
pause?
And,
Sure.
and
I feel like very blessed to have learned this lesson, like very early on, that you can have logical reasoning and then be wrong, and then but also like use illogical reasoning and be right. Like if you say, like, the sun is a star, therefore Atlantis never existed. Like you arrived at the correct conclusion, but your logic is a complete non sequitur.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas like all cats can fly, Fifi is a cat, therefore Fifi can fly. That's valid logic, but an incorrect conclusion because Fifi cannot fly.
It's valid but not sound, I think, is the thing. I'm trying to think, because I think valid but not sound means valid is like, if all of these things are true, then your argument is correct, but then like sound is all of the things are true.
And I found out, I'm pretty sure Mahler has not quite grasped this, because like when it gets to the part where I say Mahler believes that if you like disagree with his final like qualitative assessment of a film, then you're disagreeing with the facts that he used to come to his conclusion.
Yeah.
And he said, well, yeah, if I use ABC to conclude that D, and you disagree with D, then you're also disagreeing with ABC. Like,
Yeah. So it's like, here's an example, for instance. You could say there's like, here's a scene in The Last Jedi that is both dramatic and comedic. You say, if we add that to scenes being both dramatic and comedic means they're inconsistent and therefore bad, that would equal this scene is inconsistent and bad. But is the second premise true? Like, is it true that having comedic and dramatic elements in the same scene makes it bad? Is it inconsistent?
I mean, like,
Maybe.
I recently watched The Lobster.
Yeah, that is the
it's
definition. It's dramatic and comedic the entire movie.
Yeah, the entire movie. It's like simultaneously the most funny and the most scarring movie I've seen. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, in tandem with each other, like simultaneously, not like juxtaposed. Like just.
Yeah. Britt, can we make that one of the movies that you let me watch with you?
That I let you watch?
Yeah, because you never want to watch movies.
I mean, you know, you have the freedom to watch movies whenever, but I'll watch that one with you.
Okay, thank
It
you.
is good.
It is good.
I've seen The Lobster and The Favorite. They're both fantastic. The Favorite is like that's a bit more light.
You think?
I
I always thought The Lobster
think.
was like the funnier movie.
I think The Favorite is like, if I had to put a genre to it, I would say it's a straight comedy. With like some drama elements, but it's like there's some parts where I was just like on the floor.
Oh yeah, those movies are both very funny in parts. Yeah. Alright.
I haven't seen Killing of a Sacred Deer yet. I've heard it's distressing.
Okay, let's go.
He got busted by trying to bang every fan of his channel behind his wife's back. Joss Whedon.
Oh, and if people want clarification, I am totally biased against Jack Sane. So like, say for example, I shot a family member of Geeks Gamers, and someone said, and I came up with an opinion about a movie, and Geeks Gamers was like, I don't want to fucking listen to that guy. I'd be like, I think it's fair to have a bias against me at that point.
Did I shoot Mauler's family? Is he comparing me to having shot his family?
What?
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Shoot a family member, I'd be like, no, you know what I mean. You have a reason to not like the person. I think that's. We're allowed to have biases. That's totally fair. And again, I said for Jeremy to go check it out. Ignore what I've said if you want to. Like, I don't know. I just had a quick take. I've not seen enough of the video to make a take on it. Fair enough. I was just talking about.
They have been doing nothing but having takes on the video this entire time.
Because, like I said, I haven't been aware of it. I have not been spending a lot of time on Twitter lately, just because Twitter will it's just an endless cesspool of shit talking. Plus, from a team standpoint, I've got a lot of moving parts on my team that I need to be managing, and Twitter just has been taking a lot of my time. So
to be clear, he found out about my video like long before anyone else who like I covered in that video. I think he found out about the video like within a few hours of it coming out. So I don't know. It seemed like he was kind of on the ball with that one.
It's like maybe he's a name searcher. Like
I too am afflicted. Yes.
I am afflicted, and I sympathize.
I might have been made aware of this on Twitter and just haven't seen it at this point, but I'm looking forward to it for sure. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, so I've got it. He's got subtitles in the video as well, so I can just play it while we're talking.
Okay.
This is,
I'll play it too when we're talking, and
if we think back to the sort of false arguments about supply and demand earlier, with the suggestion that things like discrimination and equality can be explained simply by natural market forces, it all links back pretty clearly. This is all apparently from the video. Often when with this lot, for instance,
is he just like reading a random part of the video?
Yeah.
Often when with this lot, for instance, made fun of for being quite obsessed with Brie Larson, their response will be, we're just giving the people what they want. And that's the root of all of this, really. It's a series of actually quite artificial, oftentimes...
Oh god! Artificial! I said the word artificial again. Oh no.
Is it artificially tactile?
We'll soon find out.
Arbitrary factors that have resulted in a certain status quo that they have found personally advantageous. And the best way to make sure nobody really studies these factors, or dare I say it, criticize them, is to insist that it's all just the natural order of things. A natural order which by apparently being natural, means we can skirt around the moral or ethical concerns of profiting off lying about someone to fuel the witch hunts. How the fuck did what I say to you misrepresent this? You literally used both of the words.
Yeah,
I feel vindicated now.
You used the words moral and ethical.
I used the word moral and ethical, and therefore that now... What the
fuck?
Like, the whole video is about, I'm criticizing this, and I'm saying that these are the criticisms I'm making, and you can't just discard that by saying, well, that's just how the market works. It's like, which is the... Mauler said that.
A random point and, like, read the scripts, and
So is it just about intent now? Because, like, what? So if I just turn around and said, oh, sorry, Mauler, actually my video on you was just for views. So when you say, like, oh, you, like, tried to assassinate my character, you lied about me, etc., it's like, oh, that's fine, because it's like, why do I need to think about morals or ethics or anything like that when I can just, it's for views, I'm just getting views. Well, there's the conclusion.
Kind of just like sort of criticize. You weren't like criticizing Geeks and Gamers as an individual. It's just
you weren't even like talking about him in that moment.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah. No. Again, the whole video was more about like the broad trend of these kinds of videos.
Yeah, like they still haven't seen it. Like, he just like went to a random part of the video and said like
I mean, it's good that he did evidence the fact that he did in fact hear those words. It just also that's like the last sentence of the video, so he didn't.
No, it's in the
So are
middle.
you saying you
Oh,
are
is it in the
taking
middle?
Out of context?
Okay.
You're talking about like. I remember talking about like supply and demand and like the unearned presence of a woman part.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that will always be the refutation when their arguments are found to be like unfounded, based on lies or anything else. They can just turn around and go, "Well, I'm just giving the people what they want." And now it's like, "Oh, now we don't need to engage in anything that's being discussed here." Well, I did say the words.
Moral.
I thought I had misread something or heard a word that it wasn't there. There you go. He said so. He didn't name you personally, but he's saying that you're in the group of people that are covering this stuff and saying that it's all due to the algorithm and what people request, and therefore it like relinquishes any moral or ethical responsibility. And he actually says lying or witch hunting, so I guess you can respond to that. I'm curious. Like all I want, I mean, it's probably in his video, but yeah, I mean, if you've lied, very provable, right?
So I mean, it's very easy to prove it. Very easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really easy to prove that you've lied because your videos are filled with lies or witch hunting through like just saying, "Oh, here's an interview. Now if I just imprint my reading of this, like, oh, clearly Jeremy Renner fucking hates Brie Larson because he looked at the ground at one point in the interview." It's like, yeah, that's like basically the same thing at that point.
Clearly, Brie Larson thinks that you shouldn't have an opinion.
Yeah, white men aren't allowed
white.
movies. Should I even bring my white kids to see this movie?
Like worst possible faith interpretation of that quote is that just she doesn't personally care.
Yeah, that was the thing that I said in the video even. Like, if you read that, like, completely in the worst faith, the most that she's saying is just, that she doesn't care. You would have to extrapolate after that point. But even within that, she's not really saying, like, white people aren't allowed to have opinions on the movie. She's just saying that, like, it's a shame that movies that are speaking to, like, various cultural experiences, overwhelmingly, it just ends up being, like, a straight white guy that will cover that movie. It's like, say there's a movie about the experience of growing up as, like, a gay kid, right? Like Moonlight or whatever. Overwhelmingly, it's going to be straight people that end up doing those reviews. And, like, it's that sort of thing. Or Moonlight, in specifically, it's about a black gay character, which is a very specific cultural experience, but it's going to be reviewed by a straight white guy. So, yeah. But that's getting way too into it. Way too into it.
Lied. I might have given an opinion he doesn't like. I guess.
How absurd. I mean,
I don't know what to tell him.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
I mean, is he standing by his content or not? Like,
yeah, it's weird. Like, why does he care now? Like, yeah, you do lie in your videos. Like, whatever.
Like his response should be like, "Oh, yeah, I lie all the time. What of it?"
Yeah, I mean that's what I think that's what he said when I like had a little tweet thread with him. Like after he posted his video, he like tagged me in it, and I was like. And we ended up talking about that, and he was like, "Oh, I don't care. More views for me." It's like, okay, so now you don't care.
I guess Mr. Gamer took Mr. Gamer out of context there.
I've since owned the fact that the movie was far more successful than I thought it would be. You know,
so in the beginning of my Black Panther review, I said it was set in 19.
Oh, by the way, for instance, I decided to go for like this is just a totally random thing. When I checked Geeks and Gamers channel, hang on a sec. No, wait.
They're talking about Black Panther now.
Oh, God.
Oh boy.
I just really want to quickly point this out. So, I was curious, so I jumped in real quick to the Rise of Skywalker 2.5 hour long analysis and watched like 5 minutes of it. And, oh, hey, look. Oh, fucking hell, hang on. Hey, look at this. Here's you reporting a gossip story about how Rise of Skywalker ticket pre-sales are all lies. It's actually all made up. That because the website broke. It must indicate that this was all a setup from Disney. It's like, do you have anything actually evidencing that? No, it's just I've been on a few websites and they're kind of broke. Okay. So it's that's the kind of thing that occurs like so regularly on that
Oh.
channel. Like, yeah, so you do lie.
Wait,
That's
wait,
basically
no,
indisputable.
I get what it was, because it's all like the argument might be the website is broken, therefore, can you really trust the website? Therefore, can you really trust the report?
Mm-hmm.
I'll see. The person who wrote this article, detailing the results of a survey, is actually an employee of EA.
Yeah.
That exactly that.
And obviously the sad reality being that they did this exact same shit with Captain Marvel. They did it with Last Jedi. They did it with like every movie that they say, oh, this is another get woke go broke movie. It's all a Disney conspiracy. And then the movie does really well. Like, oh, never mind then. I guess that the lies that we spent months spreading were proven to be lies. Oh, never mind.
79 when it's 1997. So you can see how my brain fucked that, right? Like, but it doesn't matter to any of my arguments at all, not even a little bit. And so someone could say, like, Mauler lied about Black Panther. It's displayed on screen what the time is, and yet he said this. And if someone said that, I'd be like, well, I did get it wrong, but to say I lied about it is interesting. Like, I'd like to, you know. So you never know with these things. You gotta really search the actual specific.
Okay, so your video is. It's like just detailing a bunch of things that Geeks and Gamers just like they got wrong. You know, they did a slip up. They
Yeah.
like, just got a couple like misread a couple things. That's all that happens.
Yeah. Also, to close things out, this is an extremely minor point, but here's someone turning the. This is a twofer, actually. They've got a super chat here, which is doing the, despite the being 13% of the population, the F word. Jack saying are responsible for 50% of all F wordery. So
nice.
that's both homophobic and racist.
Wow.
Lots of fun.
You gotta make an effort to be both at the same time.
I think that was the end. Someone was saying that 38. I mean, I guess we'll listen.
Timestamps, and the problem for you compared to me, for example, is that you do so much content that someone could just grab 2 random lines from 2 random videos at 2 random positions and put them together and make you look like you've got cognitive dissonance you're unaware of.
Hang on. He called me Geeks Plus Gamers. That's the first thing I had to notice.
That's the name. That's the name of the channel.
He does it like Jack. Make you understand. Like it's for branding. I appreciate the fact that you can't understand what that means, but the fact that
but the channel's called Geeks Plus Gamers.
Okay, objectively, you need an ampersand if you want people to understand that it's Geeks and Gamers. It's literally Geeks Plus Gamers. That's what the logo says.
Like, let's just keep going. Let's finish this up.
Oh wait, shit. Sorry, it must have skipped for some reason.
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
He's got a lot of clips of a lot of my videos, so the fact that he still called it Geeks Plus Gamers is fantastic. That's so good.
Mr. Geeks.
And the story behind
what are they talking
people have
about?
asked me like, why did I put the plus symbol?
The fact that I called it Geeks Plus Gamers. Guys, I called it Geeks Plus Gamers because I thought it'd be funny. Anyway.
There is it a symbol of Christianity? And no. So when I first purchased or when I first created Geeks and Gamers, I could not afford to buy the domain geeksandgamers.com. I had to purchase geeksgamers.com because geeksandgamers.com was far out of my price range. And so I was really trying to push people to my website, and I didn't want to put or the and symbol, the ampersand symbol on my t-shirts or in a written form. So for branding purposes, I tried to stay away from the word and because I didn't own geeksandgamers.com.
Wait,
so I was
but
like,
he's
right,
just... Wait, okay, this is so minor, but the reasoning of saying I didn't put an ampersand because I didn't want people to think that the name was Geeks and Gamers. Instead, I used a plus, which I want people to switch for an and, so that they say Geeks and Gamers. The level of reasoning here for your actual career
See, this is what makes me believe that his videos are sincere. You know, like when you see that they're like exactly the same in streams, then it's like it's confirmation.
And the plus looked good. It kind of gave it a little more personality because Geeks and Gamers is. People have said this to me like I don't know. They're like, that's a pretty generic name. Yeah, I know, motherfucker. I created it. But to put the plus symbol in there kind of gave it a little.
Wait, is he actually insecure about it being Geeks plus Gamers and not Geeks and Gamers? Did I stumble into saying something that actually upset him?
Like is this like a deep set insecurity that you've accidentally like unearthed?
I guess so. I just said Geeks plus Gamers because that's what it says in the logo, and I thought it'd be funny. But I guess he's
apologies.
like, people have been shitting on him, saying Geeks and Gamers, more like Geeks plus Gamers. He's like, no, I'm Geeks and Gamers. The plus is just supposed to be a symbol that represents the and. Why not use an ampersand? Well, then people would think that it was.
We're bullying him now.
Okay, it's gonna end now.
Element of personality also. So that's why I had the plus, and then I kept it after I purchased geeksandgamers.com, just because I like the personality. We already had the branding with it, and that's the story behind why the plus symbol is there.
I mean, I didn't need a reason for it to be there anyway.
No. People have asked so much, and apparently Jack doesn't understand. So.
Okay, Jack. Like, you need to like clip the story of him explaining like why it's plus instead of and.
Yeah.
And then like the pause, and then Mulder saying, I mean, and then cut away. Like,
can someone in chat please clip that? What just happened? Just go back a minute. Like, clip that part.
like, I mean, like not this stream. Like take their video.
Yeah,
and make that edit.
Yeah. I think it's nearly over.
Jack, I'm sorry.
Unless he's doing it on purpose. Like, he might, because this is the thing, I find it hard to believe he would call you that after watching your videos. So maybe he's doing it ironically to be like, haha.
Deductive.
He's got to be taking a serious approach to this, the way he's forming it. Now, again, I'm looking at it through subtitles, so I didn't hear the right...
I'm sorry, this is why I hate Americans. It's like, well, wait, if he's being serious, how can he also be joking? It's like, this is like, I feel like you, Patricia, you get it because you watch The Lobster, and you get that, how something can be silly and serious at the same time.
Yeah.
But like for Geeks and Gamers, it's like, well, if he's being serious, how is he just saying something silly?
If I had seen that movie when we were working on that, I would have made that one of the 3 movies that they wouldn't watch. As far as I can tell, Mahler has still not seen Funny Games, so
we'll do a hashtag campaign.
The way he said it, so I don't know if there was any sarcasm behind it. I'm still just kind of listening and reading the subtitles as you and I are talking, but I think it's great, and I'm going to use it against him. So regardless if you meant it or not, motherfucker, you already threw the first punch. Now I don't play fair, so it's all good.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I don't know how far he goes in that video. It'd be interesting if he doesn't insult you or anything.
He's not. Well, he's still using video clips of mine from even like a year ago. So he's definitely, and that's fine. I mean, the more I hope I get a lot of coverage in this video. I'm hoping so. He's bringing Donald Trump into it apparently.
Donald Trump,
which is okay.
Nice. Are you pro Trump?
Did I do that in the video?
You like it's the like the part where he gets mad that people are using Black Panther to...
Oh, yeah. Like,
there
was the writer of Black Panther that was, like, saying how the movie relates to, like, the current... Or, like, the...
Like I'm glad I rewatched your video before going to this, because I did not know what he's talking about if I...
Yeah. Like, so I wasn't actually I don't think I talked about Donald Trump there. I was referencing a writer of Black Panther who referenced Trump, and then Geeks and Gamers comes and say, why do you even think that you have the right to say these things?
No,
like,
it was Quartering who just said...
Oh, was that the Quarterings video on it?
We don't care.
Why won't you just shut up?
Given the option, you should pass on these questions.
I am pro-Trump.
Okay, I'm not gonna
and
kill you. Rag's pro-Trump. So.
Oh, did you
I
know that when you
understand
made your
things
video, Patricia?
Oh no, I didn't.
Oh, well, there you go.
And on my channel, I was very secretive about my stance on Trump, just because these far left people have weaponized your political opinion, and so I just didn't want to. I didn't want to say it for my brand. I was like, I don't want to tell people I'm a Trump supporter because I know how these people act. But once it started becoming weaponized, I was like, I'm not gonna let these mother effers weaponize my political opinion.
Mother
Fuck them.
effers.
We need people that are like,
Yeah, he's a good Christian boy.
He's so cute. I want to hug him.
like, I don't care what your political opinion is, and I love how people call me like this far right conservative, whatever. I'm like, bro, it was down to Bernie and Trump is who I was gonna support. Does that sound like a far right Republican? I'm not a Republican. I don't do party politics. I don't align myself to any party politics. I wanted someone that was going to kind of challenge the establishment, and Bernie and Trump both represented that. And then Hillary basically screwed Bernie over.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
So
Oh,
there
he's
you
a
go.
he's a
There's much-
he's
Yeah, and
a
I feel
Bernie
like-
broker
I feel like
and
Bernie's
Trump
not gonna
supporter.
Yeah,
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
In fairness, I feel like most of them are that. They're like Bernie bros who then shifted over to Trump. Or at least preferred Trump to Hillary. Because, you know, if you can't get somebody who has, if you can't get somebody with those politics, why not get somebody that has, like, the complete opposite politics, but also says something about how they don't like the establishment? Rather than somebody that has similar politics, but seems like they're part of the establishment.
This time around, where he really did have a chance before Hillary fucked everything up for him.
Okay, I don't want to hear their political opinions. We're done.
No, you need to finish.
Oh,
It's
I
almost
think
over,
this
isn't
is
it?
past the point where they're talking about us. I'm pretty sure, but
No, like
And
they're only
politics is-
talking about it because allegedly you brought it up. in
oh,
the video.
okay. We'll
I mean,
we'll
like-
give it another minute, but I don't need to hear their political takes.
American politics is always, and probably in the world, but specifically American politics has always been a popularity contest. It's not about policy. It's not about accomplishments. Not about your resume. It's about popularity. Bill Clinton got elected because he was cool and he played a saxophone on Arsenio Hall. George W. Bush got elected because
He seemed like a guy you want to have a beer with.
and he had a good last name because his dad was president.
I remember hearing that a
Barack
lot. The guy you want to have a beer with.
Wait, is Mr. Gamer just pure ideology? Just like everything's performative. There's no such thing like real politics doesn't matter. It's all just about performance and
It's all about getting clicks.
yeah, it's all about getting those clicks. That's the only thing that matters.
I think he's a card says moopser.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense considering his channel content. It's kind of all adding up now. They're just like nothing really matters. Just all you need is
nothing matters except maintaining the status quo. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like they pretend like they're like neutrally like taking people down when in actuality they're just blindly supporting like whatever forces brought us to the state of the world we currently exist in.
all the person needs to do is like say that they don't like the establishment and then they got my vote. And I don't need to look at what their actual positions are, just as long as they say that they got my vote.
Yeah, and nobody was like, this guy's failed at every fucking thing he's ever done prior to this, but you want to have a beer with him, and
Well,
his
I mean,
daddy was president.
This whole thing, this is why I don't tend to talk about it on my channel anyway, because it's just like everyone's going to have a perspective on this. Everything you just said, there's going to be people in chat I haven't looked yet. There's people in chat right now who are like, fuck you, Jeremy, Trump is a disaster. Then someone else is like, George W. Bush was the best president ever. And someone else is like, no, he was the worst thing ever. And this is the thing, you get people splitting off
yes.
immediately.
I'm looking at the chat right now.
Did you ever see H Bomber Guy's moderation tweet? Did you ever see that? So Google H Bomber Guy moderation, and then go to Google Images and try and find his tweet, and then read it out to me and tell me what you think.
Oh, I know what tweet they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Didn't Harry
Google
remove
H-bomber
that?
guy. What?
Moderation.
I don't know. I mean, he was right. He shouldn't have deleted it. Like moderation isn't really.
Bomber guy moderation.
Yeah, there are many
like-
occasions where you can't be a moderate on a certain issue. You have to be for or against
And like
it.
moderation as a be all end all is not a position. Like it's Like,
Yeah.
if you identify as a moderate, I don't like what it like. This is my favorite joke. Like, if a centrist and a fascist were like arguing, would the centrist like try and find the middle ground between those two, or join the centrist? Like,
Yeah.
we're like Zeno's centrism between any two political opinions. There is a middle ground.
Do you have any thoughts, Brett? You've been a little quiet.
No, sorry, I got a little distracted in the video because I've been watching the gameplay.
Oh, that's okay. I think that's
Who's
part
ever
of the.
playing is basically just let all 3 of their teammates die.
Well, yeah, he's not playing online. He's just playing with AI and just kind of looping back and forth. I think he's treating it like a surf map almost, which is interesting. That's part of the hypnosis process. It's the same reason a lot of these types of guys will just have video games playing in the background.
Yeah, that is true.
Did you do that with your asset flip video, Patricia?
I mean, I didn't really succeed in lulling people to sleep with that one. A lot of people reported like getting headaches.
Yeah.
Moderation is a delusional people describe themselves. There is no moderation between right and left, just like there is no moderation between correct and incorrect. That's just wrong, but pretentious and easily upset about it.
What do you think?
All right. The moderation
right.
is a delusional person's way to invent to describe it themselves. There is no moderation between right and left. There is, just like there is no moderation between what? What is he saying? I don't even know what he's trying to. What is his overall point here?
So the
What is
interpretation people got was, is he saying that the left is correct and the right is incorrect, and anyone who takes a position between them is also just incorrect?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that isn't what he's saying. I don't know if I agree with that take necessarily, but like, I definitely get where he's coming from. Where like, oftentimes there will be issues that you either have to be for or against, and to say that you're a moderate there is basically to say that you just don't have a stance on it, right?
Well, yeah, I guess it's like.
I mean, a lot of like self-proclaimed centrists like do try and convince you that they are actually like very, like very self-assured in their views, like, and aren't just apathetic. I don't know. I don't think. I just don't believe them. Like I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can look at the state of how things are and not, like, either. I don't know how you can think about things and want things and not end up as either a leftist or a fascist. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I that's just me though.
Muller doesn't want to have arguments about that. He just wants to argue about whether Iron Man 3 is good or bad.
Like, I think that's what Innuendo Studios said in the Always a Bigger Fish. Like, the only similarity between like leftists and fascists is that we both like took a look at both democracy and hierarchy and realized, wait, both of these are artificial. Let's choose the right one. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Well, it's also what Innuendo Studio's most recent video talked about, where it's like often these people who will like they'll trick themselves into believing that they aren't political because they don't like actually talking about politics, as in like what Geeks and Gamers are talking about here, Mr. Gamer rather. He doesn't think about things like policies. It's all performance. Like the actual politics don't matter. It's just about like, I mean, in the same way with my video, it's about the entertainment value and whether he was entertained by it. It doesn't really matter like the actual points being made. It's all aesthetic, I guess. All right.
I don't even know what his point is.
He's saying that moderation is like. So say,
I
for
think
example,
they
you
have
need to tax
actually like moved past the topic by now.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me get to the end of this minute.
the rich, and some other guy said we need to not tax the rich, and then I go, okay, we should tax the rich a little bit. Someone's like, moderate.
I know. Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't understand how you say there's no money.
You just said we should tax the rich. You agreed with the first person.
Tax some of the rich.
Yeah, just we'll do a lottery, and then some of them will get taxed, and some of them won't. Abortion for some, miniature American flags for others.
separation between right and left. There is. You might.
Well,
That's
H Bomber
strange.
Guy eventually deleted that tweet, and he said that it was, I think it was in relation to specific politics, but once you get extrapolated into everything, it doesn't work. I don't know. But
Yeah.
again, this is
That would be my
kind of all over
criticism.
the place.
like we covered that on EFAP, and you would be like, "Isn't that politics?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, but it's not like we never talk about politics. It's just that we don't need to talk about politics to prove points about media. Like a character being, like, for example, Daenerys killing all those innocent women and children. It's like, is that a left or right leading pastoral politics? It's just dumb.
Oh god, the whole conversation about like Daenerys being caricatured into this like
Didn't Lindsay Ellis say that she's like, she does liberation but too much?
yeah,
I don't know.
she gets caricatured so that it's like she can't possibly be ultimately correct. It's like no, she's like it's the Killmonger thing. It's like it goes from someone making like a really good point about like how things should change, or in Daenerys' case, wanting to like be a just ruler who like stamps out slavery, treats the people fairly, etc. And then it's like within the last season, it's like, oh no, she's actually gone crazy and she just wants to kill everyone. So Jon Snow sadly must murder her. It's like,
Look what you made me do.
yeah, exactly. It's
I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but like after, like everyone says like, oh no, it's not worth it because
it's interesting to think about with TV shows where it's like up until probably the end of season 4, I would have said Game of Thrones is 100% worth everyone's time because I really do think up to like the end of season 4, it's like a really, really good show. But because every season after that, for the most part, is like really bad, it's like I kind of don't want to recommend it to anyone anymore because it's like I know I'm just setting them up for disappointment when halfway through the show it kind of becomes shit.
and like I think like generally I think the things worth watching are the things that are better when you know how they end.
Mm.
In a lot of cases.
But I feel like TV is one of the only mediums where that really happens, where like there are like when you have entries to something like a book series, even if the book series goes bad, generally people can still say no, the first couple of books are really worth your time. It's just don't read anything, like don't read the 5th or the 6th book, whatever. But with shows, I would definitely say that if you have a really bad like last few seasons, it makes it so that it's not even worth watching the show a lot of the time because it's like you can kind of where everything's going, everything's just going in a bad direction.
And also, like, I do not trust myself to be able to follow the plot line of the show.
Oh yeah, the
like
show's
just-
kind of complicated, which has a lot of plot threads and stuff.
Like, because I'm just very bad at that, generally.
Yeah.
Like, character-driven TV shows
Mm-hmm.
just get too complex too quickly.
I wonder if it's like, would it be more okay if, for example, the seasons were more self-contained? Like, what was it, Channel Zero? Where each season was just a completely different story?
Yeah, Channel Zero might be.
So-
I think Channel Zero is also very spooky.
So in that case,
only if Patricia would be up for
let's
something
say they
spooky.
made
And-
like,
And with some,
you know.
for something, like, I think, like, Harry was describing Sherlock as being, like, people liked the first seasons because, like, it was promising that it will go somewhere, but then it eventually revealed its hand
Yes.
and showed it was
I-
actually...
I felt that so hard. Like the first 2 seasons of Sherlock, I was like, I'm so pumped for what's going to happen now, like next. But then by season 3, I was like, oh wait, this is all set up. Like this is kind of Lost, where you're just going to constantly set up things and then not actually do them, or do them in kind of crappy ways. Yeah.
So I guess, like, in that way, a show can be, like, ruined by its ending.
Yeah. All right, let's give them a last couple minutes, and then we'll
It
go.
shouldn't have happened anyway. Like, I don't-
There's so many funny responses to this tweet, like all these other memes that are attached to it now.
oh, yeah.
Okay, we don't need to. I don't think we need to keep going.
Yeah.
Well, what have we learned, folks? Have I been destroyed? I think so.
I mean, I think by their admission, they'd say that we're overreacting because they haven't even responded yet.
Yeah.
Like, so let's wait.
We'll see
But
what happens.
we got to see, like, Geeks Plus Gamers explaining, like, getting incredibly defensive about why the...
Yeah, it was just really sad because it was just Geeks Gamers basically saying like, yeah, my content is shit, And it's okay that it's shit, because I tried to do things that I cared about and nobody liked it. Which is just, it's true, like, that, I feel that too. I had that happen. I've had that happen in the past. I did my animated pilot thing, and I felt really jaded afterwards because I put it out, no one really watched it. But then a few months later, I started doing just video essays talking about other media, and that, like, popular stuff, and then that took off. And it was kind of, I had a moment where I was like, oh, I'm kind of sad that this thing I cared about, people didn't really want to look at, but this other thing, this is what people want. It's like, that can be stressful. That doesn't mean you, like, lose all sense of, like, having personal standards or, like, values. Basic human values, like not spreading bullshit gossip about someone because you're